96.5 The Fan. I want to start with something that's probably going to be a little frustrating. And we can dive deeper into the reason for this if you guys want. But I saw Mike Sando from The Athletic, who we've had on this show before. He's covered the league for a very long time. He put out, you guys, I'm hearing myself in my ear. Anybody, you guys, anybody else hear that? Anybody else hear that?
I heard you twice.
Anybody else hear that?
I heard you twice. It's okay. We get new computers. So
we do. I was wondering what was going on. I'm like, well, that's going to be weird. Mike Sando put out a graphic. I was like, am I?
I heard you several times, man.
Yeah.
You got your point loud and clear.
No, it's fixed now. Yeah, we're good. Thanks, guys. Mike Sando put out a graphic, and it was a stat comparison from last year to this year. And this is why it's frustrating, because I'm going to go through a couple of these, and you're going to say, what's the difference, Bink? And it will remind you why it's really been 1 to 2 plays. And in 2024, the Chiefs offense, in the first 10 games, were scoring 24 points per game. This year, they're actually scoring 25.4. Last year, the defense was allowing 19.1 points per game. This year, they're allowing only 18.1. So both are upgrades from a year ago. Average point margin last year in the first 10 games, 4.9. This year, point margin, 7.3. Also an improvement. Offensive EPA per play, 0.06 a year ago, 0.13 now. Defensive EPA per play, 0.03. This year, 0.02. That's the one area where it's actually worse. Turnover margin, -5 first 10 a year ago, +3 first 10. And as we all know, the first 10 games last year, Bink, they were 9-1. This year, they're 5-5. And yeah, it can be simply summed up the one-score game aspect, 0-5 and one-score games. But you think about, and this is not to act as if they're still not in trouble to make the postseason. They are. But we are, honestly, it's so cliche, but we're talking about 1 or 2 plays making a difference in each one of these games. Some of them have been the exact same mistakes. It's been penalties. It's been, Mahomes pressing, whatever it may be, as we discussed yesterday. But isn't that crazy, Bink, that in the first 10 games, they are better in multiple key statistical categories, and yet 9-1 versus 5-5.
Yeah, and also look at the offensive points per drive. Third in the NFL. 2.74 points per drive. They were number 2 last week. They moved to number 3 this week. It's incredible what this team is doing statistically and getting better in the close score games. The 7-point game, the 3-point loss, the 3-point loss. Again, the Chiefs are the king of the one-score games. Mahomes, as a matter of fact, his whole career at 143 starts, only 6 times he's been beaten by more than one score. Twice in the Super Bowl, 4 times in the regular season. 2 of them were back in 2021 when they turned things around. But it's crazy that the team was all of a sudden bad when the ball's not bouncing their way. But as the cracks in the foundation were there last year, but they were covered up. It was lipstick on a pig because the ball was bouncing your way. You were hitting the uprights in Carolina, winning games, blocking field goals against Denver, and everything's fine. Chiefs are fine. There's nothing wrong there. Was there nothing wrong there, or was there something behind the scenes? It's much different when you're winning the games by the ball bouncing your direction. You're like, oh, this team's fine. It's what they're doing. Well, that's not the laws of average. The laws of average come back and bite you at certain times. So this was happening to the Chiefs last year, winning 15 games, won division by 4, go to the Super Bowl, but yet this year they're not getting those breaks. It doesn't mean that they were better this year, worse last year, whatever. It just means the ball was bouncing their way at opportune times.
Yeah, but it's bouncing their way, sure. It's also just every single big moment last year went the Chiefs' way, like every single one. And that's the frustrating part is I don't think anybody's suggesting that they should be 9-1 and 0-5 and the one-score games should be 5-0 in the one-score games. It is just crazy that every single one has gone in the opposite direction. And I know there were people throughout last season that were saying, like, they have no business being 15-2 and yada, yada, yada. And we were saying, in fairness on the show, we were saying, like, hey, they're winning game, like, finding ways to win. That's all that matters. That's exactly what the Broncos, of course, are doing this year. But I guess, does this make you feel even worse or better about the next stretch of games, the final stretch of games for Kansas City? Because on one hand, for me, when I saw that stat comparison beyond the one-score game stuff, that was very frustrating to see that they're better offensively points per game and defensively points allowed and EPA offense defense and turnover margin. And yet here they are and they have 4 fewer wins than they had at this point a year ago.
They're one of the most balanced teams in football. 7th in offense, 7th in defense. And you look at the opponent this week, the Colts, number 1 in offense. Clearly, the schedule is a big part of that. And 19th in defense. That is a huge disparity. That's a combined average of 20 between them both. The Chiefs are right there at 14 because they're top 7 in both categories. So, yeah, it's frustrating. It's not like they're doing the wrong things. Just the ball's not bouncing their direction. And the league comes back. You have a bullseye on your back when you're constantly that team, and teams come out to beat you. And you know that we've heard about the tells from Maxwell Harrison, the tells from Xavier Worthy, and people think they figured out the Chiefs at this point. Then Sean Payton was talking before halftime.
Yeah, we played the audio yesterday.
I know people are running with this, that the Chiefs have done well in the second half some games. Look at the Lions game. Look at the Ravens game. How about the Washington game? They only scored 7. Talk about their tells about the Chiefs. Trust me, the Chiefs have got tells against everybody else. They just don't say it. Mahomes did it this year.
Yeah,
when he called out it was Washington. He knew they were blitzing. He goes, cover 0 right here. Like, he called out what they're doing. So the Chiefs have this down. But it is frustrating when people say things.
I'm not worried about the Xavier Worthy tendency stuff. Like, that stuff is not a problem. We talked about that.
Everybody does it. The Chiefs have known it many times what teams do.
Everybody has those.
Yep.
The problem is more when Bo Nix is able to, it sounds like, based on Chris Jones himself, when he's able to pinpoint multiple times on key plays exactly what you're about to do. That's a problem. And I understand they get paid to study film and figure out as well. I'm just saying they have become, as you said, teams have been focusing, especially the divisional teams, on this coaching staff, this team for years. And when you have the same coaching staff, you are not able to be status quo. And I think they have become predictable in that way. Anyway, we already did that topic yesterday.
The beginning of the season, though, the 6 games without Rice and the 3 without Worthy, that does make a difference. And that did put the Chiefs where they're at. It did put the Chiefs with the 5 losses. When you lose Worthy for 3 and Rice for 6, I'm sorry, you can spin it any way you want. That hurt the Chiefs.
Yeah. Now, let's get into what I think does matter bigger picture, though, for the team. And this is not an in-season fix. This is maybe a off-season conversation, and that is, and I think a lot of people listening have been thinking of this for a while as well, and now that they're up against it even more than ever, in danger of missing the playoffs, is this what will prompt the change if, in fact, they miss it, which is, do they need a fresh voice inside, in particular, the offensive room? And I that's with me citing you stats that offensively points per game, they're actually better than a year ago. That's the crazy thing. But Patrick Mahomes is at a fourth quarter completion percentage that's the worst in the NFL when trailing or tied in the fourth quarter this year. It's not what we typically see. And the answer is, I think they could use a fresh voice and a fresh set of eyes. But as I mentioned yesterday a little bit, Bink, and I don't know where you're at, that sounds great in theory. I think, hey, let's bring in a young, up-and-coming offensive mind that's got some new ideas, maybe even bring him in from college and all this. Sounds great, and Andy Reid can learn some things from him to try to blend the two. It sounds amazing to me. But is Andy Reid actually, for a guy that has had all the success that he has had, future Hall of Famer, in the conversation for one of the greatest coaches of all time, all that is still true no matter how they finish this season, is he willing to actually pivot? I would argue, is he willing to listen? As much as people want to blame Matt Nagy, and his name only comes up when things are going bad, I want to point out. No, when things are going good, nobody ever talks about him.
Regardless, and Andy calls the plays.
And Andy calls the plays. But and I'm not absolving Matt Nagy from criticism. What I'm saying is he only gets brought up when things are bad, and it's hilarious to me. People just don't like Matt Nagy. It's bizarre. So is he listening to Matt Nagy? If he's not even listening to him, then how am I supposed to believe that a new set of eyes is going to change anything, Bink? We can talk about bringing in somebody new to your business that's going to help you. Maybe your sales are flat, whatever it may be, right? And you're going to bring in some guy to freshen up the ideas and help you guys get on track. If you don't listen to that person, if you're not willing to implement some of those things anyway, you're wasting your time.
And they have done this before. Early on in Andy Reid's tenure here in Kansas City. Remember, they were 1-5. They got back to 5-5. Ended up making the playoffs that year. Chris Holt, who's on the college football playoff committee, very well-respected coach. He was a coach in college football, came with the pistol offense, at least at the FBS level. Andy Reid brought him in. Like, he's like, you know what, we need to work on this. Alex Smith, works out of the pistol well. This would be perfect for him. So he brought in the guy, the architect, who did it. He brought in Chris Holt. That was listening to the outside. And he's done this before. So to say, is he willing to do it? Yes, because he has done it before. He brings in Chris Holt to be a consultant. Then the next year they said, let's do an exclusive deal. You're only doing it for the Kansas City Chiefs, not others. and he did it. So for a couple of years, they had Chris Holt as a consultant with the Chiefs, and they do that from time to time. You know what he does at training camp? Gruden was there for a day. Antonio Pierce was there for a day. He tries to bring in other voices of what they're seeing, the tendencies for the Chiefs and what they saw. That stuff helps because, trust me, they ask those guys, what do you see about us? What are we doing wrong? So they've done that in the past, especially in training camp, bringing in other voices. So they have done it.
Bringing them in training camp, though, is different than what I'm talking about, though. Not just having your buddies show up. Like he had John Gruden at training camp 2 years ago or a year ago.
He's a big fan of the college game and what's going on in it. So I do think he's receptive to listening to that part. But again, like you said, your team is built in April and May, and it's what you do in the summer, not in midseason. It's very tough to do at this point. Can changes be made with the fresh voice coming in? Possibly so, and I think they will listen to it only because they've done it before.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I hope you're right no matter what happens the rest of the season that they're willing to bring in somebody. And that, by the way, bringing in another voice does not mean that I think they should fire Matt Nagy. I know a lot of you think that's what should happen. I think, again, that stuff that's a very easy thing for people to latch onto. It's social media, for whatever reason, just doesn't like the guy. I'm talking about bringing in somebody else. I'm not suggesting that they need to fire anybody in the offensive room. I think they just need another voice in there, but it doesn't matter if you don't listen. The only coach that I think truly, and I'm not one to usually call for people's jobs, because I think that's something that people do way too easily for little things. I do think you need a shakeup in your special teams room, though. That to me, that to me is not just a 1 year problem now, Bink.
It's a couple years.
And they have had some big moments, good ones on special teams throughout the tenure, and that's Andy Reid's guy. That would be the only area that you've had far too many issues. And this goes back more than just 1 year on that.
I don't know if you'd be interested or not. What do you think of the name Cliff Kingsbury? I was an advocate of him when he was at Texas.
He might be a head coach.
No, when he was at Texas Tech and things were looking bad for him, he was going to get fired. I was thinking, okay, well, that was Mahomes' coach in college. It's a lot of the same system, the RPOs that they do now. I know there's been a lot of talk on that, but he got really good stuff out of Mahomes, Kingsbury. Obviously, then he took the USC job as offensive coordinator. That lasted for, a week or so before he was named Arizona Cardinals head coach. Now he's in Washington, and things are going well with that team this year. Obviously, it's much better last year. And Jaden Daniels has been hurt. I think that's a big part of their problem.
Right.
But a voice like that, I don't know. Again, it depends. What's Cliff going to do? Because he can be a head coach.
I think he might be a head coach.
But if he dates that 1 year, and I hate it, so what Nick Saban used to do, bring in Steve Sarkisian, bringing in Lane Kiffin, bringing in all these other coaches for their voice. Because Nick Saban did this. As good as Alabama was in winning 6 national titles, he would bring in a Steve Sarkisian. He would bring in a Lane Kiffin. He'd bring in these other voices. Dan Lanning was there for a time. He would bring in other voices to kind of change things up a bit because that's what he did. That's what Saban did.
Yeah, I just, as far as Cliff goes, I mean, sure, I just don't think he would leave the OC gig.
No, I'm just saying, there's not.
I don't think he's leaving the.
People.
I don't think he's leaving the OC gig in DC, Bank, to go be the OC in Kansas City. Or co-OC in Kansas City. To me, if Cliff is leaving Washington, he's going to become a head coach.
Unless he's let go.
You're not going to fire him. As you said, the issues offensively in Washington have been because Jaden Daniels has missed, I don't know how many games now, 8 games. It'll end up being 8 games or more by the end of the season, right?
I mean, the guy, went to the NFC title game last year?
What's that?
The guy went to the NFC title game last year, obviously coming back to reality this year, so he still got it. But Andy Reid is a big fan of the college game, so we'll see if they listen to outside voices. I know in the past they have, obviously, training camp they have. Will they do it next year? I think they will. I think that's something they would do.
Coming up in 15 minutes, Vinny Pasquantino, our NFL insider, is going to join us. We'll also talk a little college football. I know you've got some thoughts on what is going to happen tonight with the college football playoff rankings. Also, what Missouri was able to do over the weekend, 300 yards rushing from Ahmad Hardy. You and I were texting about that a couple days ago. You had some thoughts on Eli. One other thing, though, we started the very first topic today was just about where the numbers were from a year ago to where they are now, first 10 games as well. We're still here. Off to an interesting start today.
Yeah, it's a good commercial.
Well, it is. We'll get that here in like 9 minutes or so.
Yeah. Vin Sider.
Yes, he will join us. Bink, I was trying to talk about the regular season a little bit for Patrick Mahomes, and we were putting through some of the numbers on Mahomes' 2 postseason outings, of course, and what happened in the Bucs Super Bowl, the Eagles Super Bowl, and then looking at the regular season and some of the bigger blowouts and 6 games in his career where he's lost by more than 1 score. And so going into what is happening so far this year, looking at the 1-score games and 0-5 and all that, the fact that it's doubled up this year is pretty interesting. Is this a situation where Patrick Mahomes himself is playing vastly different, or is this still, in your opinion, what we were just discussing, which is the play calling?
I think some of that. I think you always have to change things up, especially with your tendencies. If you're doing things and teams get it right, obviously teams aren't afraid of the Chiefs running game. Despite, we can look at the average for Kareem Hunt this week. That's fine, but was Denver yielding that to stop the pass? Was that their main worry? So, yeah, I think there's some things the Chiefs can do to try to third teams. They're going to have to because teams are getting used to them. I think so. Eventually change up the play calling, what they're doing, especially the audibles. And I think there's a lot to what you were saying about the under center thing. You just don't want to be too predictable.
Yeah, well, I thought they would have changed that Bink during the bye week. You know what I mean? Like, why
there's an opportunity for that.
The thought that they would change that now just because they lost in the way they did by 3 points. I think we heard Andy Reid yesterday. It doesn't sound like someone that thinks that there's going to be much to adjust. We continue to hear we'll clean up a few things, we'll clean up some penalties, and we'll be all right. That's essentially what we heard yesterday. We'll clean a few things up.
Yeah. Denver had the same amount of penalties. Denver was the number one penalized team still in the NFL, and they were last week going the game. They still are the number one penalized team, but the Chiefs had untimely penalties that really set this team back.
All right, so we'll get back into this stuff a little bit later on in the show. All right, I want to talk about Jamar Chase a little bit. Jamar Chase suspended for 1 game, Bink. He's appealing a suspension, though. Remember, he spit on Jalen Ramsey of the Pittsburgh Steelers over the weekend. Now, the appeal is somewhat hilarious, only because he is arguing in his appeal, according to Ian Rappaport, that if he was intentionally trying to spit on Jalen Ramsey, he would have spit in his face, not at the ground. Which is
that wasn't at the ground.
We all have the video. Like, it's in 4K. We can clearly see. He initially said, "I never opened my mouth to that guy. I didn't spit on nobody." And then there's video of him spitting. So the league suspends him. And then Ian Rappaport says his defense, if you will, to try to appeal the suspension is that I clearly wasn't spitting. I would have been more accurate with my spit, which is like we said this earlier in the year when what's his name spit on Dak Prescott. That is, whether you're football field, certainly way worse away from a football field because you're going to get your ass kicked if you do it all away from a football field. The fact that that's one of the more like just degrading things you can do to any human being is spitting on them. And Jamar Chase, I'm sure in that moment, Jalen Ramsey said something and all that. Doesn't matter. You can't flat out spit on anybody. And now he's missing a game against the New England Patriots. He's not going to win this appeal.
And the accuracy is funny because you're spitting through a face mask, which is tough to do anyway to have accuracy, but he still did it. Did you see the money that's costing him? Just the mistake of doing that? $448,000, then a $58,000 game check. That spitting incident to Jalen Ramsey's costing him almost $500,000 for what he did. Think about that. That spitting cost him almost $500,000, actually over $500,000 for just that one spitting incident. But yeah, you have a guy here. Jalen Ramsey's clearly a proven guy in the National Football League. Jamar Chase is too. Silly thing for a team that needs everybody, to be honest with you. Without Joe Burrow, they need this guy. They need Jamar Chase there to do something that stupid. And you're right. That's the most degrading thing that you can do. There's no excuse for what he did there. And to say you didn't do it, it's like having a camera and you got caught in the cookie jar and there's a camera watching you do it. You can't say I didn't do it. No, the camera's there, man. You can't do anything on the field in the NFL without some camera catching you because there's a million there.
Yeah, I don't know why he thought that there was no way that was going to be seen. That makes no sense to me.
That's why Jalen Ramsey got pissed. That's why he swung at him.
Yeah, they're a 3-7 football team, and I know there's been this dream that they're just going to get hot. Like, one, their defense stinks. Two, now you're going to lose Jamar Chase. You're going to play a Patriots team. They're going to be 3-8, and the season will be completely over. But Jamar Chase, we've played his comments over the years about Kansas City and stuff. Yeah. For somebody that played with Justin Jefferson, that played with Joe Burrow, played with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, for whatever reason, out of that grouping, all the other guys are very confident and amazing players as well, specifically Justin Jefferson and Joe Burrow. Jamar Chase is the only one that seems to get himself in some trouble and talk more smack than any of them in the entire group. It's kind of bizarre. Like,
and he doesn't need to because he's the best at what he does. He doesn't need to talk. And I thought he grew up last year when he said, I'm not going to say anything derogatory. I don't want to come up during the game. He actually said that before the Chiefs game.
Yeah.
And I was shocked that he said, it's like, man, he's turning the page. He's turning the corner. And then he doesn't.
Someone said at least he didn't try to claim it was AI or something like that.
He
That's
could have
true.
done that.
You could, today's day and age, you definitely could.
That wasn't real.
Yeah.
That wasn't real.
It definitely was in this case, though, for one, Jamar Chase.
It's also tough to spit out of a face mask.
True. Who was the kicker?
That's going to go a million different directions.
Who was the kicker? There was a kicker over the weekend that clearly, I can't remember for what team it was. He clearly was trying to spit through his face mask, and he was getting ready for a kick, and it was like dripping down still from his and he had to like pull. Who was it? There was I can't remember which game it was.
I remember.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Who was that? It was in the noon window of games, wasn't it?
But the worst one, it's freezing because it freezes up against your face mask.
That's also true. All right, up next, let's talk to our NFL insider. We'll get things rolling hopefully here a little bit better in the next segment. Vinny Pasquantino will join us. We'll also talk a little college football right here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trey Smith. You're listening to Cody and Gold weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Chiefs Checking for Community America is for real fans. Because real fans know Tap to Pay is the ultimate play. Zero fees mean you win with ease. And big savings at the team store means you can score more. And who doesn't love scoring more? Community America is investing in helping Chiefs fans step up their financial game. Get started today at communityamerica.com. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union. Invested in you.
Hey, Zach, are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbor's attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching. Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet.
And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
FanDuel is the #1 sportsbook for same-game parlays from points, rebounds, three-pointers, assists, and so much more. FanDuel is the best place to combine your favorite picks into a same-game parlay or track every stat line live, all in an easy-to-use, one-stop shop app. And right now is the perfect time to join because new customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So bet on the players that you love the way that you want. Head over to FanDuel and use my promo code FanDuel.com/KFNZ to sign up today. FanDuel is the best place to combine your favorite picks into a same-game parlay or track every stat line live, all in an easy-to-use, one-stop shop app. FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued with nominal drawable bonus bet, which expires 7 days after restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement Kansas Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Introducing the IHOP Value Menu, where all your breakfast faves are just $6 each every day. Where else can you get a big, filling, sit-down breakfast for only $6? Go to your happy plates with the $6 IHOP Value Menu. Available every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations.
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's about time pros had one partner for every part of the job. Simple ordering, fast delivery, continuous support, all from one partner. The Home Depot delivers supplies on your schedule. Our pro team helps you plan ahead so projects run smoother. And with Pro Extra benefits, you can simplify ordering, track spending, and save time every step of the way. Because with one partner, you get more than materials, you keep your job moving. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next-day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So, your small business is outgrowing your garage. You could go online, find a space, and get catfished. Or you could work with an agent who's a realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
If you've been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, this is what it sounds like to be 1,000,000 miles away. Imagine being 1,000,000 miles away. Tremfya Kuselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy. With Tremfya, clearer skin is possible. In clinical trials, at least 70% of patients saw at least 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks. Results may vary. Tremfya is also indicated for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Call 1-800-526-7736 or visit Tremfya.com.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Where can you find an extensive line of Blue Demon welding supplies, filler, rods, and wire? Metal by the Foot, located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold with you. We got James producing for Drew today. Jay Binkly in for Cody today as well. Coming up in 30 minutes, I want to talk more about the legacy aspect of where the Chiefs are currently situated. There were some interesting comments out of New England. The Patriots Bank, their fans, their sports talk hosts in the Boston area can't stop thinking about the Chiefs. They still are threatened by them, clearly, because they were waiting. They were waiting for this moment.
I think the national media has been waiting to pounce on the Chiefs. The hot takes are out there. It's just ridiculous.
Certainly are. So I want to talk more about what Tom Brady, of course, did in a couple seasons throughout his career as well, for those that are already trying to act as if the dynasty and everything is completely tarnished because of a 5-5 start to the season. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But I want to bring in VinFL insider Vinny Pasquantino. You guys know he joins us each and every Tuesday. And I don't expect, he might just laugh at me, honestly, for this. They're 5-5, Vinny. There's a real chance for the first time since 2014 the Chiefs don't make the postseason, and people are concerned. People are worried.
Well, first off, Steven Spector, where is my intro? I fully blame Steven for that.
You should. You should.
Yep. So I blame him for that. But yeah, tough one, fellas. Lost to the Broncos in Denver. That's no fun. What do you guys need to go? What do we need to go? 5-1?
Yeah, look.
6-1?
I think they got to go 6-1, Vinny. 5-2 gets them to 10 wins, but they're in a bad spot with all these tiebreakers. They have the head-to-head loss, of course, to Jacksonville. That's the big one that really hurts them. They still do get the Chargers again. The Texans they'll get later on in the season. Currently, Houston's got the tiebreaker over them. So they're just not in a good spot tiebreaker-wise, which is why I think 6-1 would get them in. I'd give them 11 wins, and I think they're fine. Certainly they win out, which I don't think anybody's suggesting they're going to do that. But if they did that, it's a guarantee that they'd be in at the 12-win mark. So it's just a dicey spot. I think it's a coin flip right now. And after what happened, Sunday, understandably so, Chiefs fans a lot of them think that it's over.
Yeah, it's going to be an all-time week and few weeks for it's right in front of us, game by game quotes. It's going to be all time. you guys haven't heard that in a while. I can't imagine. So this is going to be one of those weeks where it's like, all right, just got to look forward, got to go game by game, got to go on 1-game winning streaks every week. So it's going to be a good week for quotes coming out of Chiefs camp, I'd imagine.
Look, I understand some of the differences, of course, with the way the schedule works in the NFL season compared to when you guys are playing $162. But you guys have had moments, whether it was this year or a year or so ago, where things obviously not going well for a certain stretch, or the outside noise is very, very loud, and people are saying, this team stinks, or this season is over, and all that. How can you take me inside the mindset of an athlete a little bit? And I'm not saying that every single guy in the Chiefs locker room is thinking this way, but just when it seems like everybody outside is very, very negative about you as a player or you as an organization. How do you guys handle that?
Well, the nice thing, not to be super negative, but the nice thing about most media members is it's more negative than positive. So things could be going great, and somebody will be there to make sure that you get humbled by some sort of writing that they do. You're used to it. Negativity is kind of what gets the most clicks. So I think even when you're going through, I'm assuming most people are talking about the Chiefs dynasty being over because of a half of year of not even bad football, but 500 football. So that's the easy part, because everybody wants to tear you down no matter how good you're doing or whatever. So yeah, I think that's the easy part of you just focus on what you can, which is this week. It's getting through today. Whenever they have practice, I would assume they get back to practice, Wednesday?
Yeah.
So you get back to practice tomorrow. You have a good day of practice. You have a good day of practice Thursday. Do they play Sunday this week? Sorry, I haven't looked at the schedule.
Yeah. So it's a noon kick here against the Colts. It's a big one.
Yeah, so you try to take the positives out of having a noon game against a good team, and you win that game and you get rolling, and next thing you know, you're right back in the thick of things. So they're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination. They just got to. That's why it's an all-time week for quotes, because this is why cliches are cliches. You're weeks like this.
Yeah, you're right, Vinny, because they were 0-2 and the dynasty's over. They started to win again. And it's like, okay, the Chiefs are back. They can't figure out what to do. Like, seriously, they're sitting there teetering. Are the Chiefs good? They bad? It's just funny how they go back and forth on this. And one of the things, Vinny, that's been talked about is tells. Obviously, baseball knows all about that. With Xavier Worthy and Maxwell Harrison of the Bills will say, well, we can tell when they're going to run or throw or whatever by what Xavier Worthy was doing. Then you have Sean Payton saying, well, the Chiefs are more of a first-half team, which isn't true because they actually score in the second half a lot too. This tell thing, people think the Chiefs are telling, their plays and what they're doing. And with baseball, you guys don't say. That's the media saying, well, he was tipping his pitches. We knew when a curveball was coming. But that's one thing about you guys in baseball is you don't talk about it. And for years, the Chiefs had to have known other tells on other teams. They just don't talk about it.
Well, it's an interesting thing because you see, I think in football there's more time to marinate words too, because there's so much time in between games. But it's weird how teams talk about the Chiefs. Now, I do feel like it's similar to the Patriots of old, where you beat the big dog, so to speak, and you feel like Antonio Pierce, the coach of the Raiders, didn't he say something like we figured it out a few Christmases ago or something?
Yeah, he said we got to create like the Mahomes rules or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sean Payton's always talked he talked about the Jets a few years ago, which I thought was insane, but he's always kind of done that. He's also the coach that had a bounty system going on within his program. So I don't know, whatever. He can do what he wants. He went on Fox for the 1 year. He got used to talking, and he's been used to talking ever since. So it's just one of those things where when you're at the top, people are going to take shots at you all the time. You just got to. One thing the Chiefs have been so good at is deflecting those shots and getting back on the offensive with their play on the field. So I don't know anything about tells or anything like that in football, but if that's something that they're doing, it's something they need to clean up, and it's kind of nice that other teams are telling them that they're doing it. So if I'm another team and I beat the Chiefs, I'd probably just shut up, because especially if I do have something on them, you're probably going to have to see them again in the playoffs if you're any good. So I wouldn't want them to know that we know that they're doing something.
We're talking to our NFL insider, Vinny Pasquantino. You mentioned Sean Payton and the Broncos, and going in, admittedly, we looked at Bo Nix and we weren't impressed. And to his credit, he outplayed Patrick Mahomes, though, in that game on Sunday. Do you now consider the Broncos as a legit Super Bowl contender with that championship-level defense and with what they were just able to do on Sunday?
I think you kind of have to. especially if they have games at Mile High. I think that's a tough place to play. I think it's a good home field advantage for them, and kind of sucks talking to Kansas City people right now saying how good the Broncos are, but at this point they deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough team to score against, and if their offense does enough, they've got a good chance to win. So I don't think the offense scares you by any means. I mean, what did they score? 1 touchdown? I don't remember what the final score was, but they don't scare you offensively, but defensively they scare the crap out of you. So yeah, I mean, they're going to be in my top 5 if you ask what my power rankings are, just because they kind of have to be.
Who else is in your top 5, Vinny?
Well, the Rams, I think, deserve the number 1 spot, even though I do think it's a little sketchy that Sam Darnold throws 4 interceptions and they still have a shot to win. I think if you get 4 interceptions, you should feel really good about your shot to win by a lot that game.
Right.
A lot of narrative talk about Sam Darnold around my gym the past few days. And as a former Jets quarterback, I will not stand for it. Got a bad game. Relax. Everybody relax. Rams would be number 1. I think the Patriots are probably number 2. Maybe the Broncos. The Eagles are probably in there. The Bills, maybe, or should I just say Josh Allen is in there? Not necessarily the Bills, but him. Yeah, those are probably my top 5. I'm sure I'm missing somebody, but I don't really care. Nobody's paying me for this list, so it's all right.
Everybody's got power rankings. Everybody's got them. I do want to ask you about this, though. Vrabel with the Patriots, because it looks like if they win that division, then the Bills become a wild card team, and obviously they have that head-to-head with the Chiefs. But Vrabel's changed the culture. And you look at what he's doing. 4-win team last year. Look at what they're doing now. They rattled off 8 wins, and everybody's always looking for the perfect mixture. You need an offensive coach to go with the quarterback. And sometimes it's just about the right guy in the fit. Obviously, Vrabel, a defensive background, but it's working perfectly with a quarterback like Drake May, like that whole system. So finding the right guy, the right culture, the right guy to come in, that's tough in pro sports, isn't it? You have to really narrow it down. It doesn't matter if you're offense, defense, whatever. Just got to be the right dude, whether it's baseball, football, or whatever. I think people overthink it sometimes. Just find the right dude.
Yeah, I think football coaches are probably the most important just because, like, every sport is a chess game that the coaches are controlling with humans, but more so in football, just because, every play call is done by the coach, different things like that. But I think setting the culture is about as important as it gets. I mean, those guys clearly love Vrabel. I think it'll be more interesting. Now, obviously, they could go win the Super Bowl this year and everything's great, but I think it'll be interesting to see next year when they have likely a first-place schedule what that looks like, because you guys as Chiefs fans know that when you get that first-place schedule, things get a little bit hairy. I mean, the Chiefs are playing good team after good team every week, it seems like at least. So I think Vrabel's obviously a really good coach. I think it's insane that Tennessee let him walk out the building after winning as much as he did with the players he had there. But, yeah, Vrabel is clearly ridiculous. I wanted him to be the Jets coach, but that was clearly a smokescreen to get the job from the Patriots when he came into the Jets building last year. Yeah, I think when you get all your players to buy in, which it seems like he has, that good things happen quickly.
Couple more minutes here with Vinny Pasquantino, our NFL insider. We were mentioning Jamar Chase, wide receiver for Cincinnati, how he's getting suspended a game. Now he's appealing it, but he spit on Jalen Ramsey. We were saying, whether you're in sports or not, it's one of the most degrading things you can do to a person. I got to ask you, being around sports your whole life, just have you ever had anybody spit on you, number one? And number two, what do you think the reaction would be from your teammates or from you if you saw that happen to one of your guys?
Well, I have a crooked nose because I spit in my brother's face when I was like 12 years old. So I know what it's like to happen. But yeah, that's one of the most disrespectful things you can do to a person, and it's clear as day that it happened on that video.
Yeah, to try to act like you didn't is hilarious.
It's even worse. Like, the interview was really bad. The interview was like really, really bad. So I have him on my fantasy team. Is he playing this week?
No, he's appealing, but he's going to get suspended. His appeal, Ian Rappaport said, his appeal, the defense he's trying to use, Vinny, is if I was trying to spit on him, I wouldn't have aimed towards his feet. That's his defense. Good luck.
Yeah, you're not going to win that one. And it might knock me out of a guillotine league this week. Ooh. So I'd like to say thank you to Jamar Chase for not being an adult. Yeah, I think if somebody spits in my face, I'm probably going to have the same reaction that Jalen Ramsey did. Now, I do always think it's funny. I think we've talked about this for years. When football players punch each other in the helmet, I just think that's funny because there's no way that hurts the guy in the helmet more than it hurts the guy punching.
Right.
So yeah, that is a tough look on a team that's losing a lot this year. So that is, you never know what's going to happen between wide receivers and defensive backs. All hell breaks loose.
Hey, Vinny, I did want to ask you, did you happen to watch the MLB award show?
I did not. I don't. I have YouTube TV, so MLB doesn't really have interest in most people watching those awards since they can't figure it out with YouTube TV.
Yeah, and they've gone so many weeks with it. I did watch it, all right? So the host of it, one of the co-hosts of it was Mookie Betts. Like, I was shocked. Like, Mookie Betts, there were stars there from the game today, and, of course, there's a lot of guys that have played before, and it's when they announced the MVP and all that. But Mookie Betts, I didn't know he had it in him. He was a host, man. I've seen you do the media stuff, Vinny, but Mookie Betts, I was shocked that this guy's hosting a show. It's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, I think I've seen some clips of it. I thought he did great. He's been really good. I mean, he's not bad at anything. He's just one of those guys. Like, there's probably an argument that he's one of the best athletes in the world, even though he's 5'10", 5'11", just pure athlete. I mean, bowls 300. He's a scratch golfer. I think he's better than scratch golfer. He can dunk, and he hosts award shows. So not that
it's hard
not that a whole lot of those things take a whole lot of athleticism, but he is one of the best out there. I mean, he's ridiculous. He's good at everything.
It was always kind of funny because they kept panning over and showing Sheffield, Amir Garrett, and Pham at one table, and they were mead mugging every time. I think it was probably on purpose, but it was hilarious when they'd show those dudes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was a cool event out there in Vegas. They had the golf tournament coincide with it. And, they're trying to make it a bigger deal, kind of like the NFL awards. It'll just help if they could get it on TV, not just on MLB Network on cable.
Right there with you. Vinny Pasquantino, our NFL insider. Appreciate it, man, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Yep, thanks, guys.
That's Vinny Pasquantino. He joins us throughout the football season as our NFL insider each and every Tuesday at 10:30. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we'll talk more about the current spot of the Mahomes legacy, the Chiefs dynasty, including some misinformation coming out of the Boston area when it comes to the Patriots dynasty. People there forgetting a few years of Tom Brady's career as well. But Bink, you're our college football guy. Drew's a college football guy. He is out today, so I want to give the floor to you. This is normally when we give Drew a chance to highlight some of the things we should be keeping an eye on and talking about in college football. Usually staying away from the local end, but I know you were excited to see what Ahmad Hardy did.
Yeah, Ahmad Hardy goes for 300 for Missouri. Second only to Devin West when he had 316 against your Jayhawks, Alex, to set the Missouri rushing record. But it's funny because here's Ahmad Hardy, and the guy's a stud. The 2027 draft class is going to be ridiculous. Like Jeremiah Smith out of Ohio State, Ahmad Hardy in it, and whatever. Got to wait a year on that. But please explain this to me, because Drew and I were texting back and forth that when Missouri was playing A&M, it's just a 14-0 game at halftime, right? Texas A&M has struggled tackling at times this year, and it was clearly on display this weekend when they were down 30-3 against South Carolina before they came back. Ahmad Hardy gets the ball first, runs for 40 yards. He then sits on the bench and has 3 carries. It's the nation's leading rusher who just the following the next game goes for 300 yards, had just 3 carries in the first half. We talk about Andy Reid and running the ball. You got to run the ball more. How does a dude just lead the nation in rushing and goes for 300 yards the next game just have 3 carries in the first half against Texas A&M? I'm still trying to figure that out. But no, we saw Oklahoma James, big Oklahoma Sooners guy. We saw them go to Tuscaloosa, get outgained by 200 yards against Ty Simpson in Alabama. Hey, paper giant, man. They can't run the football. 14 out of 16 teams in the SEC running the football, and it's coming true. 80 yards the top they've ran the last 3 weeks. So
if Bama beats Auburn, though, they still end up getting in.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, of course they will. I'm just saying, fourth, I don't know. For a team that doesn't run very well, and it's weird to say that about Alabama, not being able to run, but they don't run the ball particularly well. They're relying on Ty Simpson, a guy that you've really liked at this point. We've liked, this guy's going to be in the NFL. And that's the one thing when you look at these quarterbacks in college, there was so much, hype and circumstance over Garrett Nussmeier and Arch Manning and Lenora Sellers. And all of a sudden now, It's Ty Simpson. It's Fernando Mendoza. It's these other guys. It would behoove the Chiefs to have 5 quarterbacks taken the first round.
It's not going to happen
5
anymore.
slots. It's not.
I think we're going to see 2 or 3. That's
Yeah.
it in the first round. I think a lot of those guys are not going to. And Ty Simpson, I think he will, but technically he can come back to college.
He can.
Too. My guess is he's going to declare because.
And Dante Moore's another one, but I think he'll go back.
Yeah, I think Simpson, because he's going to be told he's a top 5 or top 10 pick now, he's going to end up coming out of college because even in some of the betting markets, he's the favorite to be the number 1 overall pick over Mendoza currently. Now, it's way too early. This stuff is going to change by the time you get to the combine. But my guess is, Mendoza and Simpson will be the first 2 quarterbacks off the board. Do you disagree?
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I think Mendoza's the best quarterback in college football. He threw for, listen to this, Indiana this week in a 31-7 win over Wisconsin. He was 22 of 24 for 299 and 4 touches. And that's without his number 1 receiver, Elijah Surratt. 22 of 24 is 91%. I mean, it was crazy how good then he had his Heisman moment against Penn State where he had to drive the ball. Drew and I texting back and forth there. And all right, now's the chance to see what he can do with the game on the line. Could he go down and get a touchdown? Clearly he did. Gus Johnson loses his mind, hits Omar Cooper in the back of the end zone for Indiana. But Indiana's legit. They're better than they were last year. They have Chris, and I think there's 5 draftable guys just on that offense from Indiana. One of them's coming back. Charlie Becker, the wide receiver, is filling in for Elijah Surratt, will be drafted next year. Not this year. He won't be eligible. But there's 4 receivers draftable for Indiana. That's embarrassing. But Georgia's legit. And they keep getting better and better as the season goes on. So I look for Georgia. Tonight, the college football rankings.
Yeah, say, what kind of movement do you think we see in the CFP? Not that, frankly, it doesn't really matter on November 18th, but it's fun.
I think 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, Ohio State. 2, Indiana. 3, Texas A&M. I don't think they don't jump Indiana because of that scare they had against South Carolina, where it was a great comeback. They were down 33 at halftime. They come back
South Carolina.
and win the game.
Beamer should be not Beamer. What's his name? Should be fired if you have a performance like
South
that.
Carolina's been weird. Alabama beat South Carolina in the final 30 seconds of the game. They had a 30-3 lead over Texas A&M at Texas A&M and lost. 4, I think, is going to be Georgia this week. But I think the big surprise is number 12, and I think it's going to be James Madison. James Madison, not a name that you had at the beginning of the year to be in the college football playoffs, the final 12 teams out of 136 in college football. James Madison, I think, gets the nod tonight at number 12 as that group of 5 member. Navy's right there on the cusp, too. It's really between Navy, James Madison, and North Texas.
None of the group of 5 schools seemingly every week it's a different school. Like just when you think there's a team that's in position,
it was
all
South
of a sudden,
Florida last week. Then they get beat by Navy.
So you actually, when it's all said and done, you think that James Madison will be the team that represents?
I think
the group
James
of 5?
Madison will be there tonight in the 3rd rankings.
But at the end, when the dust settles, do you think
it's either going to be James Madison or Navy? Okay. Or North Texas could sneak in too. North Texas has been sneakily good for a group of 5 team.
This is where the Army-Navy game is interesting.
100%,
because it takes
anything
place,
can happen.
Well, it takes place so late, right? It's in that buffer week, isn't it?
Yeah.
After the
Standalone
conference
games.
After the conference title games.
You know, when Army-Navy play, who knows? I mean, it's so up and down.
Won't the CFP rankings already be out before the Army-Navy game?
No, the final rankings come out.
Or will it be right after that? Because that's been the issue with the scheduling of that game. People have been bringing this up for the last year or so.
See, what's the date of that actual game between Army and Navy? I know it's a standalone game in that buffer, like you speak about, but the college
December
football,
13th, Bink.
Yeah, so the college football
that's late.
But the playoffs come out the 14th.
So it's the day before.
The day before.
Could you imagine how big that would be in the moment? That's kind of actually what I want to have happen. I want it would be awesome if Navy's in that spot.
So one of the rumors going around that Prebula could be back for the Oklahoma game. Missouri faces Oklahoma, really one of the better games this weekend. We have 4 games between 2 ranked teams. They're one of them. And then Kansas and Kansas State both stuck at 5. Both of them have Utah within the next 2 weeks in their final 2 games. KU at Iowa State, then Utah. But Kansas State has to go to Utah to play. That's not a favorable matchup there at all for Kansas State. But I will say this. K-State does have Colorado to end the season. Colorado is right there for Kansas State to become bowl eligible. For Kansas, it's going to be tough, man. Going to Iowa State, who's obviously come back to the pack, and they're not a great team as they were earlier in the year. But Iowa State, and then Utah, going to be tough to get the 6 wins. Where Kansas State at Utah will be an L probably, but then they get Colorado the last game of the year to get that 6th win. So, yeah, K-State should be going bowling. Not that it matters, but
913-586-7965. Text line calling you a Texas Tech hater. They said you didn't bring up Texas Tech in your rankings.
They're not in the top 4. We talked about Texas Tech. I'm not a Texas Tech hater at all. Matter of fact, I love watching Texas Tech. I brought it up to you. I said if Oklahoma and Texas were still in the Big 12, would they beat Texas Tech? And both of us said no. Texas Tech will be 5.
Okay.
I think they'll be 5 tonight. It'll be 1 will be Ohio State, 2 Indiana again, 3 A&M, then Georgia, then I think Texas Tech at number 5, followed by Ole Miss at number 6.
Did you see the news today? I thought you were going to bring this up during your college football segment, that the Pop-Tarts Bowl announced some changes this year. Are you a fan of the Pop-Tarts Bowl? Did you see what they announced?
Actually, I think they have the best marketing of any bowl game. That edible Pop-Tart at the end for the MVP. Kansas State's won that before.
They have. Not just one. That's the big news today. I know it's the
Kansas State
news of the day. 6 edible mascots, 3 on Team Sprinkles, 3 on Team Swirls. Fans get a vote on which mascot team to sacrifice to Mouth Heaven at Game's End, the biggest edible mascot sacrifice ever. So not just 1, not just 2, 6 edible mascots for the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
I like what they're doing now. Like,
you got to lock in now.
Like the Duke's Mayo Bowl, they always pour the mayo over the winning
that's
coach.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Cheez-It Bowl, they eat Cheez-Its at the end. They throw Cheez-Its on the coach's head.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Pop-Tarts Bowl, they get their own Pop-Tart. If ESPN doesn't switch from the coverage, like they've done that before.
Well,
right at the end of
you got to
games.
go flip over to ESPN Plus if you want to watch that.
If you want to watch the edible Pop-Tart.
They give you
Avery
that.
Johnson's been Pop-Tart MVP before, I believe.
That is true. That is very true. Hey, don't forget, you can't count on much these days, but you could always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game all season long, kicking off with the Week 12 matchup this Sunday, Colts-Chiefs. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Up next, I want to discuss the Mahomes legacy, Chiefs dynasty. Does any of that change where it currently sits right now for this franchise, including some comments out of Boston? They're clearly worried about Kansas City's threatening that legacy. We'll play some audio from a few of their hosts next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Do yourself a favor and get the health of your roof checked out. And the people to call, Century Roofing. They're locally owned and operated. Genuinely great people. I love interacting with them. They've worked on my roof multiple times. And they have experience. Locally owned, I like that because it means they're easier to get in touch with, easier to know who you're dealing with. You get to keep money in the community, which is a nice thing to do as well. But they've done over 30,000 roofs in the Kansas City area for over 35 years. So I know they have the experience to deal with an insurance company if it's worth filing a claim. I know they'll give me a free estimate on whether it requires repairs or a replacement. And they won't just talk me into a replacement unless that is needed. They did 2 roof repairs for my house when I thought a replacement might be needed. And instead, we did some fixes that extended the life of my roof and will for years. Don't let a small problem become a big problem. Water in your house, that can do real damage, and you don't want those kind of issues. So before winter hits and before that snow starts hitting your roof, don't let that become a bigger issue. And schedule your free estimate today over at Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength. Go with KC-based and female-owned Century Roofing. CenturyRoofingKC.com and tell them that Cody sent you.
You know, there's millions of people without the health insurance they need. I get it. You feel like it's too pricey, a headache to deal with. You deserve something better. And better health. We're on a mission to get everyone high-quality, affordable health insurance. You have health insurance needs. We have plans with low out-of-pocket premiums, with in-network preventive care at no cost to you, and a network of local doctors and hospitals. So if you're still shopping for health insurance, go to ambetterhealth.com/enroll to get your free, no-obligation quote. That's ambetterhealth.com/enroll. For coverage to start January 1st, you must enroll by December 15th. Find the plan that's right for you right now. ambetterhealth.com/enroll. Ambetter Health, on a mission for better. Ambetter Health is the brand name for health insurance products underwritten by subsidiaries of Centene Corporation. Go to ambetterhealth.com to see offerings in your state. This is a solicitation for insurance.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, Any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
Does this sound like you? Every step of reach is a reminder of what hurts, a reminder of what you can't do. But I've got good news for you. Relief is closer than you think, and it doesn't have to come from a scalpel. What if it could come from you? At QC Kinetics, we tap into your body's own regenerative power using natural healing factors that help restore and repair damaged tissue, reduce inflammation, and relieve the pain at its source. No surgery, no pain pills, no long recovery. Just your body remembering how to feel alive again. And this Veterans Day, QC Kinetics is giving back to our heroes. Veterans will get $500 off their treatment, and for every non-veteran who starts care, QC Kinetics will donate $500 to the Wounded Warrior Project. So now's the perfect time to book your free consultation with Saturday appointments to fit your schedule. Call QC Kinetics today, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, QC Kinetics.
Hi, I'm Emily, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where a small box with a burgundy bow will help you win the holidays. As an in-house designer, I love creating meaningful, fine jewelry gifts. Choose a necklace with a gorgeous infinity charm to symbolize your everlasting love. Or go for a personalized piece with an engraving, their zodiac sign, favorite color gemstone, or their initial accented with pave diamonds. Because a friend wants you to be a holiday hero. Stop by or shop now at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You think you understand how this business works, but you don't.
Landman, TV's biggest phenomenon, returns to Paramount Plus. From Taylor Sheridan, co-creator of Yellowstone, starring Billy Bob Thornton.
You have to know the rules of the game and bend them, and you really have to know them to break them.
Demi Moore.
I want success. Get it for me.
Andy Garcia, Ali Larder, and Sam Elliott.
You don't even know the game you're playing, do you?
Landman, new season, now streaming. Only on Paramount Plus.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
So, your small business is outgrowing your garage. You could go online, find a space, and get catfished. Or you could work with an agent who's a realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, and Oysters, located in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for behind-the-scenes videos like MVP Monday, Chiefs Take Tuesday, and Best Bets. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, 11 o'clock hour on a Tuesday. It's Cody and Gold. Alex Gold with you. James is producing the show for Drew today. Jay Binkly in for Cody. Cody will be back tomorrow. We will get to the trash of the day here in about 20 minutes or so. It has to do with something that I think is very creative. I'll be asking Bink in particular. Maybe James has some ideas as well for what you should do at this particular event. I'll explain during the trash of the day. Also, don't forget later on today, 1 o'clock hour, our Chiefs insider Nate Taylor will join us from ESPN. Plenty to get into with Nate. Where this franchise sits, some of the conversations we had yesterday, and certainly the ones we continue to have today, including where I want to start this hour, Bank, because we've discussed this year implication, which is, hey, do they have to go 6-1 at least the rest of the way to make the postseason? What does that do to try to avoid missing the postseason for the first time since 2014? But the current spot that Mahomes is in, legacy-wise, the current spot that this dynasty run is in, as you would expect, people are saying it is completely over and that this is why the Chiefs are never going to reach the point of the Patriots. We all know the Patriots had the 12-plus year run in the AFC East. The Chiefs, theirs is going to end after 9 years.
They had 8 straight title games, Chiefs at 7, so that's
right.
The one thing out there.
So then when I saw this come across, Evan Cohen, he hosts a radio show on ESPN Radio, and he's a Patriots guy. I think it's fairly well known. And there was also some tweets that were sent out from some Boston sports radio folks. And one, it reminded me that for this entire run that the Chiefs have been on, that Patriots fans and I guess media folks up there as well have been very threatened by what the Chiefs were doing and, approaching history that they had set. Now, admittedly, the divisional thing, it's over. They're not gonna match what the Patriots did, and that's never gonna happen from a divisional standpoint. It's just not, right? The AFC East run was a number that the Chiefs were inching close to, and they're not going to get there. Now, we can all argue all we want. The AFC East was complete trash for much longer than what it's been in the AFC West.
Tom Brady played the Bills 35 times and won 32 of them.
Yeah, and that was when the Bills were rolling out J.P. Lossmans of the world, among others, right? So anyway, so Evan Cohen, I want to play this clip because it's disingenuous because he leaves out when he's discussing Mahomes and Brady and suggesting that because the Chiefs maybe, and by the way, they haven't missed the playoffs yet. That's the funny thing about this. Is like there's still a chance they make the playoffs. Is far-fetched it may seem for some.
57% chance.
Yeah. So when I hear this, they're already acting like it's over, but leaving out the fact that Tom Brady didn't go to the playoffs every single year in his career either.
As a Brady Belichick guy, I love them, and I'm biased in their favor, et cetera, et cetera. It makes people vomit. I get it. Brady and Belichick missed the playoffs once in Tom Brady's first season as a full-time starter. Okay, that was after winning the Super Bowl, before winning 2. And then they missed the playoffs when he got hurt. If this team misses the playoffs this year, I don't want to hear the comps to Brady and Belichick anymore. This is too deep into this run to miss the playoffs. It's just too deep. CeCe last year going into the Super Bowl said, I can't believe I'm doing this, but they have a path. I said, path for what? Because if they win 3 in a row, we got to take this duo over Brady and Belichick.
Yeah.
Since that moment, think about what's happened. They got destroyed in the Super Bowl. I'm not blaming CeCe, but since that moment, they got destroyed in the Super Bowl.
BTA.
They're now 5-5 in the season. Mm-hmm. Yes, there are 4. When we went through the schedule last week, go back in the podcast and listen to Friday's show. CeCe went through and said, I got 4 wins and I'm just giving them. Well, that only puts them at 9. That only puts them at 9 wins. That means you got to find more wins. And this team, despite their enormous point differential in their favor, 3rd best in the AFC, I believe, for Kansas City, they're losing close games. They don't look dominant on offense. And Denver is significantly better. They may not make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs this year, I do not want to hear about this Chiefs dynasty in the same sentence as the Patriots dynasty. This is too deep into it to miss the playoffs. When, oh, by the way, there are more playoff teams now than when New England was in the playoffs.
So that was Evan Cohen on Sportsmanlike Radio. Now, I'll give him a slight bit of credit. At least at the beginning, he mentions and admits that he's just a massive Patriots homer and all that. So I'll give him credit for that. He's not trying to hide from that. Now, he's correct on the difficult path for the rest of the season. We don't disagree. The Chiefs are going to have to win 6 games at minimum to get in the dance and all of that. And there's a lot of people listening that don't disagree with that point, that they may not make the playoffs, and there's a good chance they don't. I still think they will. That's where I sit today. You guys know that from yesterday. But him suggesting that the Chiefs are too deep in this dynasty to be missing the playoffs and that ends any conversation. One, we don't know if they're missing the playoffs yet. So that putting the cart before the horse here. Also, the dynasty that the Patriots had were two separate dynasties. We agree, right? Like there was a gap. They missed the playoffs in 2002.
A decade gap.
They missed the playoffs. Yeah, they missed the playoffs in 2002 and 2008. They lost the division one year to Chad Pennington. And then they also went, as you said, a decade without winning a Super Bowl. In between there, you had, I think that was when the Giants obviously got him for a couple. That's how Eli has his ring, right? Eli, and then Big Ben. And the Steelers got one in there as well. So they
lost to the Giants twice.
Eli got both of them. So he's just factually inaccurate, though, to suggest that it can't happen this deep in a dynasty. Look, I hope the Chiefs make the playoffs still, but let's say they miss the playoffs, and then next year they're back in it or whatever, and they get to another Super Bowl. Let's say they win another ring in the next year or two. And I know it seems very far-fetched as it currently sits. They're 5-5, but let's not be completely ridiculous and act like the Chiefs are just never going to be in the position to go to a Super Bowl again. That gap is no different. In fact, it's still a shorter gap than what the Patriots had. Now, do I think the Chiefs are on the same level as the Patriots? They could go 5 more years, Bink, not with missing the playoffs, but 5 more years not getting a ring, and they're no different track-wise than where the Patriots were necessarily.
100%. And when you look at the NFL, everybody's got the same amount of money to spend. They all draft the same 257 pool from the combine that goes there, and they draft 256, 258, depending on comp picks. Everybody's on the same playing field. Yes, I do believe that division was much different when the Patriots were playing, but that was impressive. But this constant comparisons to that, and you downplay another team trying to catch that is ridiculous. I mean, it's a different time of day. Yes, the Patriots were great. Tom Brady was great. We know this. But he also, thanks to Pete Carroll throwing the ball instead of running the ball, Brady got an extra ring out of the deal. So, I mean, it does come back. I mean, they won the tuck rule game. I mean, there's ways Tom Brady didn't even get the first ring. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but that stuff happens. I don't take rings away from people.
It does happen, but they're very insecure about the Chiefs chasing this Patriots dynasty.
Definitely.
The thing is, Chiefs don't care. Or will the Chiefs be back in the Super Bowl at some point? Yeah, the best years of a quarterback is in their 30s when they get there. So is there any doubt that, hey, if they don't get there this year, they don't want it this year, is at the end of in the Chiefs? No, it's not. I'll remind people, just 2 years ago in the 2023 season, they were 9-6 at one point. They were 9-6 on Christmas Day when they lost to lowly Raiders at that point. But you know what? They turned it around. They went on one of the most epic postseason runs by winning in Buffalo.
Yeah, they still could win.
Baltimore.
In that scenario, they still could win the division.
No, they could, but they were 11-6 that year. They've been 5-5 before and still made the postseason, believe it or not. It does suck when the teams that are currently in the wild card have head-to-head wins over the Chiefs. That's very concerning for where the Chiefs are sitting, and I do still think they can make the postseason like you said you did. But this constant comparison, it's the same thing as comparing GOATs and rings. I mean, we're getting to this comparison. And then I've even seen Manning being floated out there in the conversation now with Mahomes. I'm sitting there going, wait a minute. Manning was 14-13 in the postseason. Mahomes already has 17 wins in the postseason. Manning didn't win his first playoff game until year 6. Didn't win his first Super Bowl until year 9. So let's take Manning out of this equation. Brady and Mahomes, yeah, we will make constant this comparison to the Chiefs and the Patriots. But let's be honest. The Chiefs went to the Super Bowl last year in a division that they won by 4 games without their number one running back, 2 of their top receivers most of the year, and they still won 15 games. So in a division, the only division in the AFC that had 3 teams in the postseason, the AFC West, had the Broncos, the Chargers, and the Chiefs. That's the only division in the AFC that had 3 teams. So that was very impressive what they did. But this constant comparison, well, they're not going to get to 11 division titles. They're going to stay at 9. That's where the record is. The Patriots 11. Big deal. So what? I mean, we're getting to this comparison now, which I think is more ridiculous than rings. But they are incredibly insecure about what the Chiefs are doing, and they celebrate the downfall.
So I have no issue with comparing dynasties. It's fun. It's what we do in sports. I have no issue with that. I think where I agree with you is certainly that immediately the Chiefs dropped to 5-5, and Boston starts talking, and we're waiting for this moment because they were threatened. I agree with you there. But I do think the divisional run the Patriots went on, while we can poke holes in it, it was a historical run. The Chiefs not reaching that, I said it on Friday's show, like part of the story going into this game. If you still want to be able to talk about that and reaching that point, you need to beat Denver, and they didn't. And so it's more than fair to bring up the divisional run like that. There's multiple checkpoints, I would argue, when you go through to compare the greatest dynasty. Hold on. To compare the greatest dynasty, the Chiefs trying to reach that. And what happened on Sunday, no question, makes that path tougher. I think that's fair to say, no matter what side you're on. The Chiefs not being able to reach the same divisional stretch will hurt the conversation. But where I fundamentally disagree with Evan Cohen, the audio we played, is this idea that they if they miss the playoffs, as if there's no way they can ever reach that dynasty. Tom Brady missed the playoffs, as we already went through a couple times in his career, and they had a decade stretch. Now, Bill Barnwell, let me mention this real quick, Bing. Bill Barnwell compiled some of the current and past, I guess, players in this league. Some of them are Hall of Famers, MVP winners, and Peyton Manning went 6-10 when he was 25 with the Colts in 2001, and he was an MVP candidate the years prior to that. Brett Favre was 5-4 in the middle of his first MVP season before turning on the Jets, as Barnwell puts it. 5-5 at the point of the year in '99 as a 30-year-old for a Packers team that missed the playoffs and was 500 or worse after 10 games in 2003, 04, and 2005. Aaron Rodgers was 4-6 at this point in 2016, which was his age 33 season with the Packers. They ran the table, won the division before making to the NFC title game. I can keep going. John Elway won MVP in '87, took the Broncos to the Super Bowl. Following season, 5-5 start, missed the playoffs. He was 28 at the time. They started 3-7 in 1990, missed the playoffs again in Elway's age 30 campaign. This idea that Mahomes at age 30 is the only future Hall of Famer, MVP award winner to have this kind of start is just not true.
Yeah, they've been waiting to do this. They've been sitting there waiting to be right, because every year they have these predictions. You look at the Chiefs dynasty. The one thing you didn't bring in is the fact they were busted for cheating twice.
Well,
like during the span. No,
that's
it is
true.
fair.
That's very
Brady
fair.
was suspended for Deflategate, cheated. And not only that, but all the years of Tomlin going there and his headset wouldn't work in New England. But this was fact. He was suspended for Deflategate. And then they got busted for filming a Cincinnati Bengals game with somebody in the deal. Didn't bring up the 2 cheating scandals they had. It's like we forget about that. But we want to talk about the refs. And the refs on cheating. They got busted for cheating twice. But I think some of these arguments are ridiculous because, I mean, let's be honest. You want to bring up arguments? Bring up the fact that Joe Flacco has more playoff wins than Dan Marino. Like, if we're going to get to this point,
right,
let's bring up something ridiculous like Flacco actually has 2 more playoff wins than Dan Marino.
No, I think, again, if the Chiefs have to get close ring-wise and all that, I think what you brought up with the cheating part, that is absolutely going to be part of the conversation.
It's part of the story.
But a lot of this, same with the Mahomes and Brady debate, this is not anything anybody's going to be able to answer for another 10 years. However long you think Mahomes' career goes, I think he's going to play another 8 to 10 years. I certainly think Chiefs fans hope it's past that, but I'll go 10 years to make it even. We'll say he plays for another 10 years. How many more rings does he have? How many more rings does this franchise have at that point? And then we'll see how close they are. I said after the head-to-head loss in the Super Bowl, we do need to pause the Mahomes-Brady conversation. We need to drop that for the time being. We just do. I mean, like if they would have won 3 in a row, that would have opened up the conversation again, because that's something that Brady did not do. But for the time being, it is perfectly fine. I think that conversation has to be paused, and it's one we cannot revisit for quite some time. The Patriots-Chiefs dynasty, that one's a little bit different, because if the Chiefs would have been able to continue this divisional stretch and match them, that would have been one thing that they would have been able to do. And that's why it kind of sucks, to be honest. That's another reason why Sunday stinks if you're a Chiefs fan, is that you will never be able to match that part of the dynasty that the Patriots did.
No, you can. It's weird where this Chiefs sit, because people are ready to pounce on them. You see it nationally all over the place. Broncos fans are really celebrating this regular season win, like the Bills do each and every year. And everybody's waiting for the downfall. That's why I consider this game against the Colts that ultimate crossroads game that the Chiefs are at. I mean, it really is. It's just like the Bengals game was. Back that year, they were 9-6. The Bengals after that Raiders game. And Burrow wasn't playing, but it's either dynasty or downfall. Which way the Chiefs going to go? They go dynasty route? They went the dynasty route, because then they end up going to 2 Super Bowls in a row after that moment where they were 9-6. Or they could have been downfall. Woe was us, 9-6. The lowly Raiders beat us on Christmas Day. It was a bad game, and people felt really, really down after losing that game on Christmas Day, moving the Chiefs to 9-6. And then we started wondering, is this over? The national media is talking about the dynasty being over at that point, and they only go to 2 more after that. It's just funny how we're ready to declare something over. And we really are. And the Patriots, to their defense, have gone through this too. 2014,
Absolutely.
They lose 41-14 the night before the wild card game with the Royals and A's. Brady goes to 5 Super Bowls after that and wins 4 after the infamous on the Cincinnati game from Belichick, where everybody wondered, should Brady be benched? That's how silly things get with dynasties when teams are up and running because people want to see them fail. And they went through this too. Now we revere what they've done at this point. But when they were doing it, people hated them.
Yeah, to me, look, multiple things can be true. All the issues we brought up yesterday are very real with the Chiefs. You know, my thoughts about predictable nature of Andy Reid in that game in particular. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes has not been played up to his normal standards, specifically in the fourth quarter. All those things can be true. And I also still think you can say, when you look how the margin of defeat in these games, it's not the Denver Broncos did not win by 10 points, did not win by 7 points. They won by 3 points. The point is, like, do I think they're winning out? No. But you can still believe, while there's the issue that they have, and that the schedule after the Colts game eases up to where the Chiefs, to me, absolutely can win 6 of 7 down the stretch. I told you it's all about the Colts game, though. Like, if they beat the Colts at that point, then you're saying, all right, you still have one game of wiggle room, and it's the Cowboys, it's the Titans, it's the Raiders, it's the Texans, it's the Chargers, and the Broncos. And so you could still theoretically slip up one time. That's why the Colts one is so massive. You lose to the Colts, then you do have to win out. And that is far-fetched. They're going to go from losing 3 in a row to losing out. I don't believe that. But if they can balance things out, and truly we're talking about, as we led the show with today, Bink, 1 or 2 plays a game in these 5 one-score games that have cost them, if that's the play that they actually are capable of making, and I don't know if they will, right? To this point this season, they haven't shown they can do it, but if you believe they can, then they beat the Colts, and all of a sudden you're talking about them having still one game of wiggle room. Yep. They could drop one to Denver again. They could drop one to the Cowboys on Thanksgiving and still be in a position. That's why Sunday is I agree with you, so massive. It's
so massive, but then they all get big. Then the Cowboys game on Thanksgiving, because obviously Chiefs have a mini bye after the Cowboys game. And then the rest of the schedule sets up perfectly for the Chiefs. I mean, it is to go out and prove something, because then you get the Chargers, which all of a sudden that game becomes more magnified if the Chiefs are able to win these next 2 games. But I'll say this, Josh Allen, everybody loves him. Again, the league is about perception. Patrick Mahomes has 6 games in his career where he's lost by more than 1 score. Josh Allen has 2 this season. Lost by 10 to the Falcons, lost by 17 to the Miami Dolphins. So Josh Allen has a fourth of what Mahomes has done in his whole career in just this season.
All right, let's get to it.
Trash of the day.
All right, guys. So GameStop announced something yesterday. They're having a trade anything day. You can trade in unusual items for in-store credit. They're trying to do this to drum up interest for getting people in the store, of course. This can take place on December 6th. You will be able to bring in physical items, including non-gaming items, in exchange for gaming merchandise, video games, consoles, collectibles. A GameStop staff member will assign a value to the item to determine the amount of store credit. They will reveal more details, they said, at a later date ahead of the December 6th event. They did publish a list of exclusions, though, for the promotion. The following items cannot be traded. So, like weapons, dead or alive animals, lithium-ion batteries, hazardous waste, alcohol, tobacco, drugs, computers, excluding certain computers, okay? Computer accessories that weigh less than 100 pounds. You can't bring in printers, digital picture frames. Small electronic equipment, small-scale servers, televisions, gift cards, jewelry, sexual items, items resembling body parts. According to GameStop's website, all items must fit in a 20 by 20 by 20 inch box, and store employees have discretion to reject any items. Now, it sounds cool, it's smart, here we are talking about it. The joke always with GameStop has been that, like, they're going to give you, for a game that you bought for $75, they're going to give you like $15 for. So my question is, I just listed you all the exclusion. What item can I even bring in? They basically, I feel like, excluded everything else. It does not have to be video games, though. Like, you bringing in a bottle of this empty Propel is not going to get you anything.
Think my chew bottle bring
Maybe
anything?
You might have better luck. Can't bring the chew, though. That counts as that falls in the drug category.
What about some of your cards?
Well, why would I trade in cards there?
I'm just asking. The ones you don't like?
No, but I mean, like, I can already sell those on eBay. And GameStop's already in the card business. You know,
there's nothing to bring them.
You already submit cards. They do grading. Like, they submit through PSA, and you get your cards back. I don't, like, it says it's trade anything, but it's just a marketing ploy.
It's not really trade anything.
Yeah, it's a marketing ploy. It's smart on their part because we're talking about it, and people will be intrigued. There will be some story where somebody brings in a very unique item, but they're assigning a dollar amount to it. Well, If it's actually worth anything, then someone's just going to sell it on eBay and get, or wherever, right? Facebook Marketplace and get money. Someone says, can't wait to trade in a Michael Jordan autographed basketball for $4 of store credit. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you have an item that's actually worth $200, you're not going to take it to GameStop because they're not going to give you $200 for it.
Yeah. You're better off, what do you use, eBay? Is that your number one source?
For cards, that's the number one source these days. Yeah, people sell, like, it's the number one. Like, if you go on eBay, that's really propped up eBay even more. Like cards,
Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah, for cards I don't, but that's where unless I go in person to a card show, yeah, the eBay is the number one route for that.
What is the hot Christmas item this year?
Someone says, what about base cards, though, Gold, to get store credit? That's not a bad idea. I don't know if I'm going to give me like 10 cents a card. I don't know. That's true. It doesn't exclude trading cards, to Bink's point, but I don't know. I just feel like if I just brought in all kinds of base baseball cards or whatever, what are they going to give me?
Something you collected, and that's probably what your biggest collection is.
Yeah, but I'm not going to take anything worth something, though, to GameStop. So you were asking what's the what?
No, cards are obviously the number one thing you collect.
Yeah.
And you like sports memorabilia stuff.
Yeah, one of the cooler things. I mean, what do I have? I don't have some insane collection. There's plenty of people listening that have way cooler stuff than me. A couple of my items that I think are pretty cool would be I would never trade them in though. I autographed Patrick Mahomes' helmet that's autographed by him. That's an item I'll never sell. I'll keep that forever. I've got some player issued Bobby Wood Jr. cleats that are signed by him. I'm never signing that. Those are two of my from a memorabilia standpoint. And then I have a couple signed frame like Pacheco and Nick Bolton jerseys. But card wise, I actually don't have any like crazy cards.
I bet they take your Super Bowl rings. James has rings for all the Chiefs win. I bet they take them at GameStop, James. He brought them in the other night.
Yeah, I'm not
James
getting rid of
those.
those. I wouldn't get rid of those for the world. Those are invaluable.
Yeah. Someone did bring up a point. They're like, hey, what about the pallet that we had from that Cody never sold? I think he finally sold it. Right? Like I think he finally sold everything from our Amazon pallet thing that we had. Someone says GameStop might give you $2 for a whole box of crappy random cards. Yeah, that's the thing. If I brought in 300 base worthless cards, they're probably giving me $5 of store credit. But it's a good marketing ploy. There you go.
To be honest with you, probably have just as good a luck going to a pawn shop.
Maybe. I don't know. GameStop's Trade Anything Day happening December 6th. They'll permit customers to bring physical items, including non-gaming items. It's worth a shot, Bink. We should try to bring something and just see what happens.
Well, we got new computers here. Could you use the old ones?
It says no electronics.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
We can take that out. Forgot.
Someone says...
but the sexual... They're not taking sexual toys.
Well, they don't want you bringing in...
They had this in.
Well, yeah, they don't want you bringing in a sex toy to the worker. Not going to give you any money.
I just think the GameStop's funny. They had to put that in there. Like,
because you know somebody would have done that. Like with anything, like the reason why certain things exist is because somebody tried to do that. I guarantee you in the past, even on a not trade anything day, someone as a joke went in there and tried to trade in a sex toy. Absolutely. All right, that's the trash of the day. Up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour. We're a day removed from the loss, so I do think we can talk about something positive that did actually happen in the game. I know yesterday was not the day for it, but there's one player that was a massive positive. I want to talk about him next.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Creed Humphrey. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Gen Z guys, did you know whether you have a college degree or not, your chance of being unemployed is basically the same. Not exactly inspiring, but there's another way. How about Centric Training? We've been telling you about Centric for a couple years now here on Cody and Gold, and Centric is going to get you hands-on, real-world tech skills for a career in cybersecurity. No gen ed classes, not wasting your time, just what you need to get hired. And you're trained in just 4 months, not 4 years. Plus, Centric helps you land that job. And if you're not sure about your future, head to Centric.com. That's Centric.com, CENTRIQ.com, and book a call with our friend Russ Mondry. Cybersecurity is where the world's going. Let Centric help you get there.
Having a financial partner who's all in changes everything. It's the difference between hoping for a home and holding the keys, between dreaming about your own business and actually opening the doors, between turning what ifs into what's next. At Community America, we're here for every moment, with financial expertise built around every part of your life. Because when you have a financial partner that's invested in every part of you, you can't help but feel like a star. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. I've spent a lot of Sundays right here playing in front of the best fans in football. And now it's almost your turn to get in the game because DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to the Show Me State on December 1st. Soon you'll get fast payouts when you win, a safe and secure app that's easy to use, and promos that keep the action going all season long. It's America's top-rated sportsbook app. New customers can sign up right now and score $300 in bonus bets on launch day, December 1st.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 965. New Missouri customers, sign up today and score $300 in bonus bets once we're live. That's code 965. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after a Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Offer good in store and online. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Imagine this. It's Thanksgiving Day, and instead of juggling pots and pans, you're actually enjoying it. Hy-Vee's got your holiday covered with convenient pre-made meal packs for any size gathering. Fresh, ready-to-heat favorites like juicy turkey, honey glazed ham, or prime rib, plus all the classic sides, rolls, and desserts. And don't forget to swing by the wine and spirits department to make it a feast to remember. Pick up your meal the day before, heat it up, and serve it like you cooked all day. This Thanksgiving, let Hy-Vee do the cooking. You get the credit. Only at Hy-Vee.
Hey, Zach. Are you smiling at my gorgeous canyon view?
No, Donald. I'm smiling because I've got something I want to tell the whole world.
Well, do it. Shout it out.
T-Mobile's got home internet.
Whoa, I love that echo. T-Mobile's got home internet.
How much is it?
Look at that, Zach. We got the neighbor's attention.
Just $35 a month. And you love a great deal, Denise.
Plus, they've got a 5-year price guarantee. That's 5 whole trips around the sun.
I'm switching.
Me too.
Yes, T-Mobile home internet for the neighborhood.
Donald, you still haven't returned my weed whacker.
Carl, don't you embarrass me like this, please.
What's everyone yelling about?
T-Mobile's got home internet. And Donald's got my weed whacker.
Yes, T-Mobile's got home internet. Just $35 a month with auto pay and any voice line. And it's guaranteed for 5 years.
Beautiful yodeling, Carl.
Taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com/ISP for details and exclusions.
Target brings more taste, more flavor, and more deals to your Thanksgiving table. Save big on affordable holiday crowd pleasers, like select elevated sides and appetizers from Good & Gather for only $4.99. Favorite day pies for a sweet finishing touch, also just $4.99. And don't forget, great tasting turkey for only 79 cents a pound. So many cravings, so many ways to save. Step into the holidays and elevate your Thanksgiving today. Only at Target. Restrictions apply.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done. With precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way. With a dedication to lasting quality. Trusted performance and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Oh no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
My debit card.
their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search
for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ziprecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ziprecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ziprecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour is brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. 913-586-7965, Jay Southland Tow Service text line. You can interact with the show. Video stream up and running as well. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X. Alex Gold with you. James Howell producing the show today. Jay Binkly filling in for Cody today. So, Bink, I know yesterday was not a day to talk much positive after what happened in Denver.
Kind of a reality check.
Yeah, for sure. Yesterday wasn't the time and place to discuss what we're about to discuss. I get it. That's why we saved it for today. I think one player in particular you do have to feel pretty good about after yesterday. And it was his first game back from dealing with the personal/family issues, again, that we obviously still don't know exactly what went on, although I am told it sounds like tomorrow Josh Simmons will speak to the media. So I believe in addition to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes tomorrow, we will carry Josh Simmons live here on 96.5 The Fan to get his whatever he wants to share, right? His perspective on the situation and what caused his absence, if he wants to share that, whatever it may be, right? So that'll be interesting tomorrow. I want to talk about him from his performance, though. He was very, very good. He was very, very good. Considering the opponent he was facing, now he had a penalty or two, right? He had a penalty or two, but going up against Nick Benito in particular and that very talented defensive front, he allowed just 2 pressures, 49 dropbacks or pass sets or whatever. 2 pressures he gave up. Cooper only had 0 pressures in 15 snaps. He allowed 1 pressure on 13 when he was matched up with Benito. This season, when he has played, he has been very, very good. A 5.5% pressure rate, and that puts him in the top 5 lowest, in a good way, for tackles in football. So when he is on the field, that's not been the issue, right? It was the absence part of it. When he's been on the field, he has been as advertised. He has been the guy that they thought they were drafting, dominant type of left tackle in a rookie year that hopefully as his career continues can be a future All-Pro. He was playing at an All-Pro level before everything happened anyway. But if we're looking for anything out of the game, an otherwise terrible day in Denver and bigger picture implications that are awful, the Chiefs left tackle once again showed, even with the time off, Bank, he's a massive strength for this football team.
He is. It's been huge for this team because sacks, they're 22nd in the league in giving up sacks. They gave up 20 this year, which is unlike the Chiefs. 2 years ago, they were 31st. In the league. They weren't getting up sacks. And we can look at the Super Bowl and the pressures they gave up. But having Simmons back was huge. I think he was just as good as anybody in that offensive line, if not the best member of that offensive line in Denver, to be honest with you. And that was interesting. That was good. He came back for the bye week. Before the bye week had 2 weeks. I am curious, though, because we still don't have that answer because they didn't ask it yesterday, but I was curious because Jalen Moore, obviously with the illness that he had, because Andy Reid was non-committal on Friday. Is Simmons going to start or not?
It sounded like he was already hinting out last Friday, though.
I think Simmons would have started even if Jalen Moore was 100%, but that's still out there. Would you have started Jalen Moore in this situation if the illness wasn't there? And I don't think he would have either. But Simmons coming back at the right time because this is the best defensive line that they faced. And we're talking about all-time NFL pressures the Broncos are going for. Zach Allen has 28 quarterback hits this year, by far leading the NFL, and he's on pace to break the record in that. So, yes, Simmons, I think Trey Smith had a good game, seen some of the things he was doing, but Josh Simmons really stood out. I mean, he had an excellent game with the Kansas City Chiefs. It was good to have him back.
Yeah, I
much needed.
I love seeing that. I mean, that's beyond this season reason, right? As much as it matters for this year and Mahomes and this offensive line trusting each other and all that. But bigger picture, you draft him in the first round to hopefully not have to address the left tackle position for years and years and years after devoting so many resources there. Also knowing that most likely in the offseason, you're going to move on from Jawan Taylor, we think, given the contract. I don't think it's 100% certainty. I think it's like an 80%, 75% chance that they move on from Jawan Taylor. And so most likely then Jalen Moore is your right tackle. So the fact that Josh Simmons in his first game back from his absence looked just as dominant basically as he was prior to leaving is an awesome sign in an otherwise disappointing game, to say the least, in Denver.
Well, it's good the Chiefs can do this with the draft because getting Simmons this year, see the just left tackle, Kasua Matia, Kingsley wasn't that guy. They got him in the second round, but they got their left guard, they think, of the future in Kingsley. So that's been good. You have that addressed because Kingsley wasn't left tackle. Clearly,
we'll see what his status is Sunday against the Colts with the concussion.
The last 2 years within the first and second round with Kingsley, they've had to address the offensive line. Now it's about much more needed things for the Chiefs, like defensive line help, tight end will become an issue. Running back for certain for the Kansas City Chiefs in the draft. Not saying first round, but early on in the draft this year for the Chiefs. But it is a welcome sight for Chiefs fans and for the Chiefs to be confident now in the offensive line, especially on the left side and the way Simmons is playing, so they can concentrate that first round and the second round on other positions of need instead of throwing darts at getting offensive linemen to come in here and help out. So this is huge. Like with Suamatia not working out at left tackle, going left guard, that's been big for the Chiefs. Then Simmons, of course, so they have that kind of out of the way. Knock on wood. Hopefully that's out of the way. They can spend those first-round picks somewhere else.
913-586-7965. Someone from the 785 Bink said, why not go to Jalen Moore at right tackle now? Look, I think a couple reasons. Going back to the beginning, week one starter at right tackle was Jawan Taylor. He got off to the terrible start. And then from, I would say, the Jacksonville game through Detroit, through Vegas, through the Commanders game, he was actually really, really good. And I think at the time, we're praising him because he had cleaned up some of the issues. But we're back to what he has always been, which is this penalty-prone right tackle. You're back in the same spot. Then, there were comments prior to I think it was Baltimore game where, Matt Nagy had mentioned that, basically they've gotten the message across to him that it's, essentially not acceptable and all that. Well, we're back. That worked for like 3 or 4 weeks, and we're back in the same spot to where the penalties, which always seem to happen at literally the worst possible time. Like that's the thing. The illegal formation stuff, he lines up that way throughout much of the game. But for whatever reason, it is always called in the biggest moments. But you can't blame the refs on that kind of thing. You got to clean your what up. And he continues to have that problem. So as much as I praised him and we praise him on the show for a nice 4-week run, he's regressed. He's gotten back to where he was, Bink, the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and you're right. He had performed well. But he does lead in penalties in the NFL.
Yes.
He's got 6 holding penalties. He's got 4 illegal formations. He's got 2 false starts. Legal formation, that can be correctable. The false starts can be correctable. The holding, you would think that would be correctable at some point, but he does lead the way. He's tied for the lead in the NFL with 9 penalties so far this season. But yes, when he's got the illegal formation down, when he has the false starts, because that's epic, because that goes in line with legal formation because he has that problem of looking over. And on the road, he's much different because it's louder, of course, when the Chiefs defense is on the field. At home, you don't see it as much because it's quieter at Arrowhead Stadium when the fans are quieter. He needs to be looking at the ball instead of just going off the snap account because clearly it's not working because he's once again tops in the NFL in penalties. 6 holdings, like I said. But illegal formations and false start, that's 6 combined penalties. Those can be corrected, but he's not doing it. That's the thing. And it sets you back. When you have a good drive and all of a sudden you have to come right back because of what happened on your offensive line. It's kind of like a turnover. It's setting the team up in bad situations. That does hurt the Chiefs.
Of course. Yeah, of course. And we can talk about someone texted in hey, the coaches need to remind them every play. I think they have. There's been no repercussion, no accountability in that aspect. They clearly still think Jawan Taylor is their best right tackle on this football team over Jalen Moore, even if the future ends up being Jalen Moore at right tackle, especially because of the finances moving beyond 2025. But it's a coaching thing, yes, but at some point, if he's not if the problem is not being addressed and there's no repercussion to it, what's the What's the incentive there? If you're Jawan Taylor, they haven't pulled you because of it.
It keeps happening.
This is beyond, like we all know, this is not a 2025 thing. This goes back to last year as well and the year before that with Jawan Taylor. This is not a new problem. This is who he has been, as you cited the penalty numbers. He just happened to have a 4-week stretch, which did not have penalties. And so he was playing at a very high level. It coincided, by the way, with the Chiefs playing some of their best offensive football of the season. And then in their 2 games where they have struggled again, it's not fully on him by any means, but he has had his worst performances, right? When things are not going well offensively, it is not just that Mahomes is playing hero ball. It's that Jawan Taylor is having the illegal formation and holding calls. It's that the drops are happening from Rice, and in this case, Kelsey. Even though Kelsey had a great game, he still had a drop earlier in the season and had drops in this game. It's the same mistakes. When this thing is off and it's ugly, it's the same stuff. It's not a mystery of what usually is going on.
You hear illegal formation, you're waiting for 74. And it's not something you should be thinking about every single time with Jawan, because that is getting frustrating where he's a marked man. And the Chiefs know he is. He knows he is at this point, whether it's Chris Collinsworth on Sunday Night Football that pointed things out. Every coach, we can talk about tells and all this that teams are doing now, right? Every coach is going to the refs before the game and saying, watch where 74 lines up. Watch where he lines up. They're going to them before the game, and they're saying that. He knows he's a marked man. Is it fair to Jawan? We can debate if is it fair to him or not, singling him out. But he's a marked man now in the NFL where they're going to be watching, and other coaches do bring that up to officials before the game. And constantly the offense or the defense is pointing it out. Hey, he's lining up legal formation every single time. And you would hope they do something about it, which they're trying to do, like they're trying to officiate the tush push in Philadelphia. But this is clearly a marked play and a marked man in the NFL.
Yeah, but that's on him.
It is
you know
on
what I mean?
him.
Like it's not.
These
Like,
are
this is not the ref's fault. Like
These are
someone
correctable issues.
Someone said it seems random when they decide to finally flag him on it, but they could flag him literally every play. That's the thing. They could call it on just about every single play.
Because there's times I'm going, oh man, don't call it because he's off.
So I don't blame the refs at all for when they decide to call it. It does seem like it happens at the most inopportune time, but that's on him. Someone said, well, then why don't they just replace him? They clearly still think, even with the penalties, he is better than Jalen Moore. I mean, that's the only answer, Bink.
All these teams that say the refs like the Chiefs, they like Jalen or Jawan Taylor. No, they don't like him.
But like there is no other explanation, though, right?
Nope.
The coaching staff, whether you want to talk about the financials, I think that was one thing for week one. I said no matter what, Jawan Taylor was going to be the week one starter given the finances. We're now past the halfway point of the season. The numbers don't, if they think they're going to move on from him in the offseason anyway, then the financial aspect should not be factoring in anymore. It should just be who they think is the best player at this time. And they clearly, with their actions, have told us they still believe Jawan Taylor is a better right tackle than Jalen Moore. There is no other explanation. Yeah, loyalty, sure, but if Andy Reid flat out thought Jalen Moore was a massive upgrade at right tackle, he would, by now, heading into week 12 of the season, Jalen Moore would be the right tackle.
Yeah, because Mahomes would have his ear and say, we got to do something at
Right.
tackle.
They clearly don't think that Jalen Moore's better.
He would make the change because he will do this. And I understand the loyalty aspect and all these guys coming back for the Chiefs. He will make changes if you get in his doghouse.
All right, the Chiefs, we all know right now, are the 9 seed, or not even 9 seed. There is no 9 seed. They're 9th in the AFC, missing the playoffs. The Ravens would also be missing the postseason if it started today. The Lions would also be missing the postseason. Out of the 14 teams, the Chiefs, Ravens, and Lions would all be missing out. Do you think, and I'll ask the text line, do you think all three ultimately miss the postseason? And if not, who's actually in? Because that's staggering. If I would have told you that back in week one, that, hey, the Chiefs, Ravens, and Lions at this point of the season are all out of the playoff picture, you would have thought I was crazy.
100%.
Now, 5 weeks in, if I would have told you the Ravens were maybe out, you would have maybe not said that was crazy because they got off to a 1-5 start. Now it's looking like, especially with the news out of Pittsburgh today, that Aaron Rodgers has, a small fracture in his wrist. Is that right? And his status will not require surgery, but Adam Schefter saying, his status for this Sunday's game is in doubt for the Steelers, so they're up against it. Aaron Rodgers not expected to practice today. Mike Tomlin also mentioning Jaylen Warren's got an ankle injury. But his status for Chicago, that is for Aaron Rodgers against Chicago, is in doubt. So the Ravens seem like, believe it or not, out of this grouping, they to me feel like a team that will get in eventually. I think they'll end up winning the AFC North. The Lions, they're not going to be out of their divisional race until the last week. The Bears currently occupy that, Bink, but I'm not convinced Chicago's winning that division yet. I still am skeptical. The Lions could still win that division as well. Is it fair to say, are the Chiefs the most at risk out of that bunch to not to make the playoffs?
I would say so because the tiebreaker situation. The Lions still kind of have things in front of them. They have Chicago. You mentioned Chicago. They already have one win over Chicago. Now they play Chicago the final week of the season, so it's right there in front of them. It's more in front of them with the Chiefs. Again, it's very comforting for the Chiefs to schedule once you get past the Colts and the Cowboys. You never know what you're going to get with them. They're going to play well or not well at all. That's Cowboys are so up and down, like the Green Bay Packers, completely up and down. What they're going to do this year. But it's more in front of the Lions and the Ravens, certainly because they play the Steelers twice and they find themselves one game back at this point. So I do think the Ravens win the division. And they have to be concerned because they have tiebreaker losses to not only the Bills, but the Chiefs, two, quote, teams trying to get into the wild card. Bills already there. But it's bad for them. But I think the division is very obtainable for them. For the Ravens. I think they win. I think the Chiefs would be the back of that list.
Yeah, I think of the three, look, I don't think all three are missing the postseason, but the sad reality is, out of the group, the Chiefs are in the worst spot. They just are. The Ravens are in a bad division and can still win it. The Lions, I think, will be just fine. They also are not far back in their division at all. The Bears are right there, but the Lions are not far. And the Packers don't look all that hot. The Lions, I think, will end up winning their division. The Chiefs, we know the division's not possible. It's just wild card. And as you were alluding to, Bink, the tiebreakers, as we know, do not work in the Chiefs' favor. So I think out of the grouping, the Chiefs would be the most likely to miss. I tend to think all three are still making it, as crazy as that might sound to some of you listening. I think right now, if you could give me, and I guess I could parlay it, I should look at it. What are the odds I can get for all three to make, and what are the odds for all three to miss?
Because the Lions still have the Packers at home. I think that's a Thanksgiving
Packers
game.
are beatable.
The Bears at home. So I think the Lions still. I think they're still probably crying about the Chiefs game. They need to get over that at some point. I don't know if they're over that or not, but they need to be over it at some point. But certainly, it's tougher for the Chiefs when you look at it. But if the Chiefs can just get to December, when you got everything right in front of you at home at Arrowhead, and your only road trips are to Tennessee and the Raiders, those are give-me games for the Chiefs that you would like to hope to say, but then having the Chargers and the Broncos at home to give them some revenge. And then, of course, Houston, that's now in play because they get the same record as the Chiefs, actually percentage points higher than the Chiefs.
They play
in the playoff standings, but head-to-head at Arrowhead Stadium is huge.
I was looking, this just tells you the books still believe the Chiefs, Ravens, and Lions are all making the playoffs. If you parlay all three to make it, it's only plus 144.
Wow.
Because right now, the Baltimore Ravens are minus 320 to make the playoffs, the Lions minus 350, and then the Chiefs minus 205. So again, the odds said what we also were saying just from the eye test and the standings and everything, which is the Chiefs are in the worst spot of the grouping to get in. Now, the flip side, what if you if you believe all three are missing, because that was the whole conversation we're having, Lions, Chiefs, Ravens to all miss the postseason, you parlay that together. Let's see, what does that kick out, Bink? What do you think? What do you think we're going to get here?
Plus 600.
Detroit Lions included, it would be 23-1.
Oh, 23-1.
So for the math there, $100 would win you $2,300 if you think the Ravens, Chiefs, and Lions are all missing the playoffs. I don't think that's a winning bet. I wouldn't make that bet. I was curious what it would actually be.
I think they all three make it, to be honest with you. Especially the Ravens. I think they easily get in because they have the Steelers twice. I think the Lions get in because what's in front of them, they still play them. And they let us down in Circa Millions. The Detroit Lions did leave us down.
We went 3-2 this past week, yeah. 3-2 this past week. I'll say this because you mentioned Houston, and they're a team that nobody's really talking about in this wild card standing situation. They play in a couple nights against Buffalo. Buffalo looks like they're going to be a wild card team because I think the Patriots are winning the East. I don't know if you agree with that, but it looks like that's how it's going to play out. Okay, so Buffalo, wild card. We all know they have the head-to-head tiebreaker against Kansas City. The Texans, I get it that they're tied with Kansas City and currently have the tiebreaker. The Chiefs head-to-head against the Texans, no matter what, to me, the Texans part sorts itself out because the Chiefs are going to have to beat them anyway. Like if we think they're going 6-1 or have to go 6-1, then the Texans are probably one of those games you can't lose given the schedule. So someone was asking, do I want the Texans or the Bills to win Thursday? I actually don't think it matters as much because the Chiefs have to play them head-to-head. But to answer the question, no, to me, you should want the Bills. I don't think the Bills are going to fall far enough back enough, Bink, to miss out on a wild card. So I would almost just concede at this point the Bills are a wild card team. I would rather Buffalo beat Houston than Houston beat Buffalo Thursday night, even though you get the head-to-head still with the Texans. That's just kind of where I'm at. But I think the Chiefs have to handle business against the Texans no matter what, if you believe they're getting it.
And it's still a really good defense. They have number one defense in the NFL points against. You know the really interesting one? And this is where Chiefs fans would actually have to root for Denver, I think, when Jacksonville goes to Denver.
Oh, you need the Jags to lose, yeah. No, anybody that plays the Jags the rest of the way, you want to win.
Yep.
And anybody that plays the Texans, I think the Jags may be playing one more time, so maybe that's the one example that doesn't apply to. You want the Texans and the Jags to lose the rest of the way. It's just like they want the Chiefs to lose the rest of the way. I mean, it's kind of simple in that regard. But the Chiefs are in a bad spot with the
Houston
tiebreakers.
barely beats Tennessee, but they're still winning.
Well, that was with Davis Mills. In fairness, now Stroud, I don't know the latest. Is he expected to play Thursday night out of concussion protocol against Buffalo? That's the only chance the Texans have to win if Stroud is playing. Davis Mills not beating the Bills.
The defense is still very good though.
Yep, but Davis Mills not beating Buffalo.
No, Davis Mills is no. And Stroud's having kind of a rough year too.
He's not the same quarterback. Yeah. But you do you agree with what I'm saying on the as much as I want the Texans to lose Thursday, if the Chiefs are going to get in mathematically anyway, they're going to have to beat the Texans. Just because I would find it hard to believe, maybe I'm off. If you tell me the Chiefs win 6-7, I would be shocked if the only loss is Houston. If they lose to Houston, to me that means they've lost other games too, because that means they're just not playing good football.
Well, it's an AFC loss, is what you don't want either, because that's one of the tiebreakers involved with it. But I'm with you 100% as far as that's concerned. But Jacksonville, to me, that's the team. The Chargers, again, up and down. And their offensive line is a mess at this point, especially with all out. We already know Rashawn Slater missed the year. All it makes a big difference for them. And you clearly saw. Now, I don't know what happened with the Vikings game, because clearly they had the Vikings number when they pounded them 37-10. But they got rolled by Jacksonville. So I don't know who you really want to worry about more. The Chargers, you do have a game against them. Or Jacksonville, that's the team. That's the thorn in the side of the Chiefs, has been the Jaguars.
Issue.
Yeah, and it's like the Raiders had them down to the wire in overtime a couple weeks and didn't let Jacksonville win the game. But Jacksonville Jaguars are the team that I think the Chiefs need to be most concerned about taking the L's.
All right, up next, guys, we will get to what's trending. Then I want to talk about one of the more frustrating stat comps that I've ever seen and maybe why stats don't tell the full story. Plus, all 32 next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
FanDuel's the #1 sportsbook for same-game parlays. From points and rebounds to threes and assists, FanDuel's the best place to combine your favorite picks into a same-game parlay or track every stat live, all in one easy-to-use app. And right now is the perfect time to join because new customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So bet on the players you love the way you want. Head to FanDuel.com/Alex to sign up today. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA in 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
This season, the perfect gift is back, the McRib. Now at McDonald's, you can buy a McRib Extra Value Meal with medium fries and a medium soft drink, like a Dr. Pepper, and add another McRib sandwich for just $1 to give to someone special. Someone special. That could be anyone, right? Like I'm special. Listen to how well I do the jingle. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Valid for item with equal or lesser value. Dr. Pepper is a registered trademark of Dr. Pepper 7-Up Inc.
Century Roofing has done it again. Voted Best Roofing Company in Johnson County for the 4th year in a row. If you didn't get your roof inspected after last year's hailstorms and your neighbors are getting new roofs, you might have damage too. Don't wait. Book your free inspection today and take advantage of our free material upgrade sale. This can mean big savings on your insurance premium. Trust the pillars of strength with female-owned Century Roofing. CenturyRoofingKC.com. That's CenturyRoofingKC.com.
Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Every now and then I rinse it out, and I need Downy rinse tonight, and I need it more. My kid was the bed and the smell never leaves. I don't know what to do, I'm always in the dark. The sweat in that short smells like a dog park. Downy rinse it tonight.
Downy Rinse fights stubborn odors in just one wash. When impossible odors get stuck in,
Rinse it out.
Our biggest deal is back. The Tires at Cost sale at Tele Tire and Auto Centers. You pay what we pay. No gimmicks, no catch. All in-stock tires from Tele's huge inventory at cost. Plus mounting and balancing by certified tire technicians for only $27.95. The top brands, the lowest possible prices, with a 30-day ride guarantee and lifetime tire protection. There's never been a better time to replace your worn-out tires. These unbeatable savings won't last long. Hurry and reserve your tires today. Take care of your car. Take advantage of our sale. Take it to Tele. Additional charges apply for junk tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning. When I say insurance, you say financial services. Insurance.
Financial services.
Insurance.
Financial services.
Now when I say nationwide, you say is both. Nationwide.
Is both.
Nationwide.
Is both.
For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
What's
What's up, KC? It's Drew Tranquil. Tune in on game days to hear the play-by-play with Mitch, Danon, and Kling on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
God dang!
Brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive. Since 1942, Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit TellyTire.com today.
All right, number one on what's trending here. Local college basketball. K-State squeaked one out. Boy, against Tulsa last night. 84-83. They stay perfect on the season. MU got a win 91-73 over Prairie View A&M. Tonight, Champions Classic in New York City. Bink, KU taking on Duke. The Hawks 7.5-point underdogs at last check. I haven't looked in a couple hours. Darren Peterson not expected to play tonight. Maybe we'll get back into that. We had a topic planned earlier. We just didn't get to it. Remember last week, people were like, oh my gosh, he might be load management and he just doesn't want to play. No, he's hurt. He's got a hamstring injury and he's going to miss some more games. It could be a bit, Bink, before we see Darren Peterson play. And let's just be clear. It is all about getting him healthy and right for conference play. As far as I'm concerned, they have no chance of doing anything without Darren Peterson this year. No chance.
We thought this was going to be the game he comes back. Clearly, load management was a little bit early into that conversation. Also, what's trending, Alex Gold, looks like Aaron Rodgers banged up, not going to practice tomorrow. So certainly an issue for Pittsburgh that's got the Baltimore Ravens right on their heels.
Staying in that division, Jamar Chase suspended one game due to spitting on Jalen Ramsey. Now, he is appealing, and the reason is ridiculous. He is appealing, saying that if he planned on actually spitting at Jalen Ramsey, he just would have spit in his face, not towards the ground, which is a terrible defense and is never going to win. So you're going to have Jamar Chase not playing Sunday against the New England Patriots.
Which will cost him $500,000.
Yeah, real smart decision.
Also, what's trending is MAC football tonight, man. You watch it? We got three games. We got 3 games.
No,
MAC
I'm
tonight.
not watching.
It's what's trending.
I'm not watching MAC football.
James, you're watching?
Who's playing, Bink?
James is a 3-time Super Bowl champion, by the way.
Who's playing?
I'm still not watching MAC football.
I'm going to watch the Western Michigan game.
No. Elsewhere on what's trending, Bink, LSU reportedly sent a private jet to Oxford, Mississippi, for Lane Kiffin's family to tour Baton Rouge. And they, of course, are trying to get Lane Kiffin to become their next head coach. Now, this is getting really weird because Ole Miss reportedly has given an ultimatum to Lane Kiffin that said, hey, by the Egg Bowl, you better decide. Are you going to LSU? You going to Florida? Or are you staying here? We've got an extension on your desk. They don't want to get played for months and be screwed in the transfer portal and screwed with recruiting. I actually think the only tricky part is it sounds good in theory for Ole Miss, but what are you going to do, fire him? Like, that's the weird thing. You gave him an ultimatum. Hey, sign this or go to these schools. We don't want to be left out hanging. But also, the alternative, what are you going to do? You just get, we're firing Lane Kiffin because he didn't tell us? No, you're not. So it's like it's a ultimatum with no real fallback.
So you got his family going to Baton Rouge, and there's been the plane chasers. You know all about that, Gold, right? The plane chasers from college football, watching planes come in and out. And then Lane Kiffin's tweeting with hearts that are Ole Miss colored and everything, like he's happy there. And the grass isn't always. There's 12 openings in college football, so I'm with you. Ole Miss clearly isn't making a move with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. I'm fascinated by the ultimatum part of it, though. Like, there's no, what are you going to do?
I agree with them saying it, though.
Sure, I get why they want to give him an ultimatum. I just don't, there's no, if the deadline passes and he doesn't tell you, what are you going to do? Nothing. Yeah. Nothing. You'll still beg him to hire, to sign the extension. And if he leaves, like there's just no fallback you really have.
Speaking of that,
he's got all the leverage. Lane Kiffin's in a hell of a spot. Yeah. It's a great spot.
Because guys like James Franklin aren't out there anymore. He's going to Virginia Tech.
Yeah,
it looks like
hire.
This guy that went to quarterfinals last year in the college football playoffs, James Franklin already mark off Virginia Tech on the list.
That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold with you. James Howell filling in for Drew today. Jay Binkly in for Cody today as well. We'll get to all 32 here in about 8 minutes or so. Also, 1 hour from now, Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from ESPN, will join us on the show. Be good to get his insight on what occurred in Denver and all the conversations that we've been having the last 24 hours or so, and including one of the most frustrating stat comparisons I truly have ever seen since we've been doing this show. And it's a real stat comp, but it should, frankly, tick you off, but also reminds us why stats don't tell the full story, right? It goes both ways. I'm referencing Mike Sando. Mike Sando from The Athletic put out a good article and had a graphic to go with it about the Chiefs' first 10 games last year, first 10 games this year. Now, some of this you're going to say I already knew. Some of it, though, I don't think you realized how close it was. So the Chiefs, through 10 games a year ago, were scoring 24 points a game. They're scoring 25.4 points a game now. A year ago, they were giving up 19.1 points. This year, 18.1. Average point margin a year ago, 4.9. This year, 7.3. Offensive EPA per play was 0.06. This year, it's 0.13. That's better, by the way. Defensive EPA, 0.03 a year ago, 0.02. Slightly worse this year. Turnover margin, simple stat, -5 a year ago, +3 this year. Last year through 10, they, of course, were 9-1. This year, they are 5-5. And I know we know the one-score game stat, won 12 of them a year ago, 0-5 this year. But the reason why I bring this up, how frustrating is this? Bink, they are better in all but one, other than the win-loss column, all but one of key metrics, points per game, allowed, point margin, EPA offense, EPA defense, and they are 4 wins worse. So yeah, it really is not crazy to say it is the difference between 1 and 2 games in each one of these games. That's how close it is. If you're trying to find any ounce of optimism, you're saying as much as it's regressed in the negative way from winning 12 of them to now losing 5 in a row in one-score games, maybe you think it's going to balance out the rest of the season because they're better in other areas. So stats do lie.
No, they do. And the thing that I always bring up that makes you laugh, the 23.5% on fourth down defense. They were 52% last year, so that's something better for this year's team as well. Yeah. Almost better in all these metrics. And you think, well, did they have guys hurt last year? Clearly, Hollywood Brown was out. Rasheed Rice got hurt in week 4. Isaiah Pacheco went down early. Same thing happened earlier this year. Xavier Worthy goes down for 3 games after play 3 in Brazil. You didn't have Rasheed Rice through 6 games. So that you think would be different as well, not having your 1 and 2 receiver, for at least 3 games when you didn't have both of them, and then 3 more additional for Rasheed Rice. So it doesn't make sense. But it all does matter who you're playing and when you're playing them, and as far as which defenses you were playing against. So, yeah, you might look better, but you know what? Maybe you're playing better defenses this year than you were last year at certain times. All things are relative, and they work out. But the points per game thing, it depends. That's a totally who you played type of thing, I feel. And the offense is getting out there more opportunities. I will say this, though, and they're more aggressive on offense, and I think that has something to do with it. Yes, the percentages are about the same for the Chiefs on fourth down, but they're going for it more this year than they have in previous years by a large margin.
It's just every single big moment.
And that helps.
Every single big moment, the opponent has got them this year in the one-score game. Like that's the difference. So the stat, I actually think offensively, because if you look per drive, they have been the best they've been in years per drive, EPA, et cetera. But in the big moment, and we saw it play out again on Sunday, final 2 drives of the game, 3 and out, 3 and out. Those are gotta-have-it type of drives. At the very least, milk the clock, right? You need points, but at the very least, because you had the lead in one of the drives, then it was tied. You needed points on that one, duh. But the first time you had it when you went 3 and out late in the game, you had the lead. So even if you just move the ball a little bit, those drives, you come up empty, you don't move any clock at all, and that was one of the reasons why, and the reason why as well, that you lose a game like that. We could go through. We all know what happened in the Jacksonville game. Key moment of the game, and what not only the pick 6, but key moment of the game defensively. You weren't able to get the key stop. Justin Herbert, of course, gets you in week 1 on a
third and 14.
Third and 14 runs for 16 yards or whatever to ice the game. Those are truly, there are 5 or 6 plays. And that's, I guess, reality of the NFL. The Chiefs have just been on the positive side of that for a year. But that's what's crazy, is that every single moment this year, they have been on the wrong side of it.
The ball's not bouncing your way. We all know when you're on a luck streak, it happens in gambling, happens whatever you do, you're on a luck streak where things are going your way. It doesn't mean the team's either worse in those situations or not, but last year, blocked field goal against Denver, the doinker in Carolina that actually went in the uprights. How about the Buffalo game? Where the Chiefs were, a D minus game, Buffalo an A-level game, but yet there were the Chiefs at the end of the game with, guess what, a chance to go down and tie the game. That's why Josh Allen on the sidelines, with still 22 seconds left, they say, why weren't you smiling and say, he goes, I've seen Pat do this before. We've all seen Pat do this before. But it looks different when things are going your way, bouncing your direction. But the reality is, it doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen in life. It doesn't always happen in football. Things don't always go your way like they did last year. It doesn't mean you're worse last year than you were this year. It just means the ball is bouncing your direction towards the end. But it's all like gambling.
But as we said yesterday, like last year's roster was probably not a 15-2 roster, but that's what you're kind of saying. This year, though, while there's regression, I also don't think this roster has any business being 5-5. I get the whole, you are what your record is. This roster, this is why yesterday was all about coaching on the show. This roster has no business being a 5-5 football team. I'm sorry. They just don't.
I do think Rice being out 6 games and Worthy missing those 3 at the beginning. I think that is significantly.
He cost them big time.
Yeah. It cost you going 3-3 instead of 4-2, which clearly would have made a difference at this point. They're still in, and that's one thing we have to remember. Whether they beat the Broncos or not, they still weren't going to be in the playoffs.
Also, the biggest swing, too, while they're still having the coin toss luck on their side, because they're winning all these coin tosses still, they're not getting the double dip. That was such a, the final, this is where you get into a problem. The final drives of halves and the first drives of the second half, they're not nearly as effective as they were last year on that.
Which is a shame, and it always happens because you get that field goal at the end of the first half, and things are rolling, you get the ball back, which we always look at it and say, all right, they stopped them on the first drive, right? The Chiefs deferred, but they get that stop, which is ultimately important because now they get the ball back, things are back to being even, the Chiefs get the ball back in the second half. But for some reason, I know they script out the first drive, and it's usually pretty smooth in what they do. But the halftime adjustments, and there's not many, as we know. There's not many halftime adjustments that we'd like to believe that actually happens in NFL halftimes. It just doesn't. It happens during the week. It happens during the week. All right, if we get the ball back in the second half, this is what they do. And the Chiefs playing for this, and they should plan for this. I don't. If they're not, they should be, because it has been going their direction with coin tosses. How do we put points up the first drive of the second half and start putting teams away? In their first stretch, they were putting teams away. It wasn't the cardiac Chiefs. When they're winning 31-0 the Raiders, when you're destroying the Lions 30-17, you were able to breathe easily. And that's not how Chiefs football is usually played. It's usually played down to the final minute, the final drive. Mahomes going out there winning games. And all of a sudden you're putting teams away and you're like, this is a great feeling. Like, this is the Andy Reid I want to see. This is the Chiefs I want to see. Put the other team away. It's just something we haven't seen in the past with the Kansas City Chiefs. And we saw a glimpse of that this year. And that's where the reality sets in. And I do think this was a big reality game for the Chiefs. And I think this season has been a reality check, not only for the players, but the fans, that sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way.
So the Chiefs have 7 games left. And right now they're 0-5 in one-score games. Let's say out of the 7 left, not all 7 are going to be one-score games, but let's say 5 of them are. We'll do the same thing. The first, out of they're 5-5 right now, 10 games, and 5 of those were one-score games. Let's say the same thing. We'll actually even give it a little bit more. So out of the final 7, I'll say 5 of them. It's probably more like 4. But I'll say 5 of them are one-score games. Do you think they're going 0-10 in one-score games?
No.
I don't either. And so that's where I'm not suggesting that they're going to win all 5 of them. But as much as it has regressed and gone the complete opposite way from where they were a year ago, I do think there is a decent chance of some of it in the positive way regressing back in their direction as well. Like, you're not going to go from winning 12 straight one-score games to losing 10 straight. I don't think. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't think you're going to go to being 0-10 suddenly in one-score games. They're 0-5. Can they basically, if what I'm saying happens, which is there's 5 more one-score games left out of the next 7 games, well, I just told you they got to go at least 6-1 out of the final 7. So they, depending on how you think that works out, Bink, they got to go 4-1 then in one-score games the rest of the way? If I think there's 5 of them, and then they win, they obviously, I don't think they're getting blown out by anybody, so I'm assuming they're winning the other 2.
But it's things you'd like to see are correctable. It's go back to Jacksonville game where you have an interception you could have had that bounced off 4 or 5 hands. It's illegal formations by Jawan Taylor down the stretch. It's untimely Mahomes interceptions inside the red zone. There's so many mental details, attention to details type issues that happen with the Chiefs, where everything kind of has to go together. And you expect that, with the team that's been there, that's done it, has that championship swagger, the championship culture, to do the things, but the little things that they're not doing. And we're talking out of the ref's hands. We're talking in their own hands, like illegal formations, like the ball bouncing off 5 hands.
Oh, their record is all them. Their record of 5-5 and where they sit is all self-inflicted.
But it's untimely mistakes. This team, they drop passes. We saw at Denver that were an issue. Yep. And Denver had some too, and so the Chiefs. But clearly, Denver dropped a couple passes too. And it's one of those things like attention to detail on what you're doing. And this is something we're not used to the Chiefs because they usually make those plays in the second half. They make those plays on final drives. There's not the penalties. There's not the drop passes. You're making that interception. And things are better. Like I said, they're +3 in differential right now with turnovers. They were actually better than Denver going to that game. Going to that game, Denver was -2. Chiefs were +4 as far as turnovers were concerned. So a lot of things factor Chiefs. Denver was the most penalized team in the NFL going in that game, but it's the small details the Chiefs are letting slip that they had earlier in the year.
And still not, differing from what they want to do, as we said yesterday. Like there's a certain way they want to win, and some of these games, these one-score games, like on Sunday, in that particular moment, late in the game, your path was to run the football a little bit more. I firmly believe that. That's not how they want to win, clearly. That's not their philosophy. But in that game against Denver, with what they were going up against, you should have ran the ball on those final 2 drives multiple times.
You run in the fourth quarter, man. You run in the fourth,
and that's not what they want to do.
You run
the
football and you salt it away. That's what you do.
Yeah.
You play clock management with that running game and putting teams away. And they'll be tested this week. You and I both have our thoughts on the Colts. I'm waiting to see with this team. I mean, are they good or not? See what you do in Kansas City. It's a wait and see thing for me. Daniel Jones turned the ball over 7 times in the last 2 games. Jonathan Taylor is a big concern. Tyler Warren's a big concern. But you know what concerns me most about this game than anything? Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator, because he slowed down the Chiefs. So it's a big challenge. What they're going to have to do, it's going to have to be mental focus for this football team because the guy you're facing, again, Daniel Jones, Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren, they don't scare me. Lou Anarumo does because he's proven it before. And that's where attention to detail towards the end, because this guy knows how to slow you down. They can't make the silly mistakes that they've done in the past because this guy can beat you.
Yeah, later in the week, we'll talk starting tomorrow a little bit more about Indianapolis and what the Colts are bringing to the table. Remember, they're coming off a bye week, too, so they've got more time to prepare for this game as well. A lot of things going against Kansas City.
Bye weeks are funny how they work out in the NFL.
Heading into this game. All right, let's get to all 32. I'll start us off, Bink. I want to talk about Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is one off the career high for a game he set last month. So the Browns lost 23-16 to the Ravens. Myles Garrett is on pace for 25.5 sacks.
He's got 15 right now.
The record, by the way, as we all know, is 22.5.
No.
And that is TJ Watt and Michael Strahan.
Al Baker is the record holder with 23.
That's modern
they
era
went back
football.
and readjusted it. Al Baker is currently
that literally NFL.com standings record book.
Pro Football Reference.
Yeah. NFL single season record 22.5 is TJ Watt and Michael Strahan. Garrett, also the first player to accrue at least a dozen sacks in 6 consecutive seasons. One, I bring it up just to point out how ridiculous Myles Garrett is. He's got last 6 years, 12 sacks, 16 sacks, 16 sacks, 14 sacks, 14 sacks, 13 sacks and counting. First player in NFL history with 12 or more sacks in 6 straight. I bring him up because the Browns should trade him in the offseason. I know they just gave him an extension. They are nowhere close to competing. You are wasting this player. Go get a massive haul of draft picks.
He had his chance to leave, but he took the money.
I know he did.
He's got 7 games left. He's got 15 sacks. Does he get the record? What are the odds on that? Have you looked
that he gets the record?
Yeah,
I don't know what
for Myles Garrett. He's got 15 right now. They still have 7 games remaining, and you know the Cleveland's going to be playing in all these games.
Mm-hmm.
So Myles Garrett's going to get his chance. Will he? Towards the end of the year, sitting at 15, get the record. I think he even beats Al Baker's record, to be honest with you, the 23. The real record.
Yeah, it's TJ Watt and Michael Strahan.
Well, they didn't count sacks before, but they readjusted it. Al Baker is technically the unofficial sack leader with 23.
Yes, you said it right there, unofficial. So
but he deserves it because of what Strahan did, laying down from Brett Gottham. Al Baker is the legitimate guy that holds the
I don't want to go back and forth. This is the dumbest argument that most people probably don't even care. You said it yourself, though, Bink. Unofficial. Therefore, it's not the actual record. Anyway, what do you have for all...
What's official anyway? It's unofficial.
What do you have for all 32?
I'm going Aaron Rodgers because I think this is significant for a team that's trying to hold off the Baltimore Ravens. Mike Tomlin, guy always has a winning record, right? We all look at Mike Tomlin. Pittsburgh's sitting in a great position. They have 13 draft picks this year. The NFL drafts in Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers was that, guy to kind of hold things together for this team before they go get their future quarterback that they hope, which not real good in the college football ranks for franchise quarterbacks. But Aaron Rodgers doesn't need surgery, so that's the important thing. Doesn't need surgery to repair a fracture in his left non-throwing wrist. So this is a left non-throwing wrist of Aaron Rodgers. But you think about Pittsburgh and how just crucial every game is, because, again, Baltimore, it's not about the wild card for this team because they're probably not going to get in because they've lost those crucial head-to-head battles for the wild card position to win the division, which I think clearly they can do at this point. Everybody's getting back and healthy, and they still have the Pittsburgh Steelers twice this season coming up. But Aaron Rodgers, not practicing this week. Will he play this weekend? I don't know. It is the non-throwing wrist, which does matter.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But I think it's kind
against
of the
Chicago,
Steelers.
Non-divisional game. As you pointed out,
Mason Rudolph's not the answer.
They need every one, but also they need to make sure he's right for their divisional games. They also have the Bills the week after, Ravens. I think this is a game where Mason Rudolph ends up playing on Sunday. Rodgers not practicing today, and I know it's early in the week and he's a vet, but I think Mason Rudolph gets the start.
I think Mason Rudolph will get at least one start this week, but the rest of the way out, I do expect Rodgers to be out there. Are we going to see Will Howard? That's the real question. K-State glory, Ohio State glory, Will Howard. He's back now, isn't he? I think he is.
Will Howard?
Yeah,
he was active for the first time all year.
So he's active. So we see Will Howard at some point. If that happens, you can go ahead and give the Ravens the division.
That is all 32 here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold with you. By the way, some news that we kind of mentioned in what's trending, but it's been confirmed by Bill Self. Darren Peterson will not play tonight as expected against Duke. Quote, Darren continues to make progress from his hamstring strain. He will be reevaluated at the end of the week. I was texting with some friends just about this, and I know we had the conversation on air last week, and I just thought it was kind of gross how people were automatically assuming this kid and his team meaning his inner circle, not KU, his team were intentionally missing games against Green Bay and Texas A&M Corpus Christi to load manage. I said, I think at some point in time we'll see a player do that in college basketball, but everybody just automatically assumed the worst. And to me, that was kind of gross last week, and we talked about it. And here we are now a week later. He's missed Princeton. He's missing Duke. He's not missing Duke if you thought he was doing it just because of load management.
The load management's off the table.
Yeah, so I would hope the same people that were accusing him of doing that would say they were wrong last week. But Darren Peterson clearly has a serious hamstring strain, and they got to get him right. They have no chance of going anywhere. No chance going anywhere without – the team's just not good enough. Like, to me, they're going to lose tonight pretty comfortably to Duke. I'll be shocked if they win without Darren Peterson against Duke. They have to get him right. Because otherwise, Bink, it won't like none of this non-con matters if Kansas doesn't like he could play a couple games in a non-con, and then he re-aggravates the hamstring strain and misses conference play. They're screwed at that point. So I don't care if it means as much as it sucks as a fan. I don't care if he has to sit out for 3 or 4 more weeks. If that's what it takes to get him right for the games that truly will matter, conference play, then so be it.
Yeah, conference play is what you want, but at least load management's now off the table. What about the highlight videos and stuff that fans were upset about with Kansas? Because is he in them or not? Yeah. Like with the videos they're putting out, not having Peterson, part of that. But at least the load management conversation, you and I are on the same page in that. We think this will be an issue going forward. This is not one of those cases.
All right, up next, man, let's get back to the Chiefs and whether or not a fresh voice is needed. Does it even matter if a fresh voice comes into the building for Andy Reid and the coaching staff?
The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
It's Cody and Gold, and you guys know we've been telling you about Centric, whereas in as little as 4 months, you can find a brand new career in IT. Take it from our friend Colin.
Before Centric, I tried community college, and when that didn't work, I went to Centric. Their IT career program helped me land my first job in cybersecurity, and in just a few years, I worked my way up to a remote senior role with great pay and real work-life balance. Centric gave me the jumpstart I needed.
Colin's got the right idea. He was ready for that new career and knew Centric was his path to do it. Reach out to our guy, Russ Mondry, at Centric.com and start that new career.
Hellsberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for Dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is going to be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop our Black Friday event for up to 65% off in-store or at Hellsberg.com.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
BetMGM is coming soon to Missouri. Sports fans in Missouri can pre-register and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet loses. Plus, an additional $100 in bonus bets if they deposit before December 1st. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day with features like live bets, same-game parlays, BetMGM rewards points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. BetMGM is coming to Missouri on December 1st. Pre-register today. BetMGM, make it legendary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offers subject to eligibility requirements and minimum deposit of $10. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Pending BetMGM's licensure as a mobile sports wagering operator with the Missouri Gambling Commission register for a Missouri online sport wagering account starting 11/17. BetMGM's insurance of welcome offer is conditional on full license.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
Play Kansas Lottery's holiday scratch tickets for a chance to win up to $100,000 instantly. Enter tickets into Play On for a chance to win bonus drawings. See KSLottery.com.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer, an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your online traffic. So this Black Friday, get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal with 73% off and enjoy 3 extra months.
Not available in all states. Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary. Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a mere fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. For free information and to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, simply go online and visit DRA.com or call 800-474-1811. 800-474-1811. That's 800-474-1811.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Back here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold with you. James Howe producing the show. Jay Binkly in for Cody today. We'll get to the random question of the day in about 8 minutes or so. Also, 1 o'clock, Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from ESPN. I wish we were on the air during the break. I really do. I wish you guys could have heard the conversation I just had with Jay Binkly. And so we got new computers in the studio. Thank goodness, and I appreciate it. New keyboard, which I'll get to during the random question of the day. Our show, Peel Back the Curtain. We do a rundown. You've heard us mention that. It's just a Google Doc. We can both go in and view it. We can edit it, plan out the show. We don't go always right by it, but it gives you a frame and outline of what direction we're heading, our guests, etc. James has a copy of it as well. Drew would, Cody would, etc. Bink somehow couldn't see the rundown the whole last segment.
It was blank.
Okay. All right, and look,
because I wasn't an editor.
That's why during What's Trending, you were naming things that weren't on the list, and I was very confused, and it was fine. We just went with it. No big deal. The entire break, Bink almost broke the new monitor.
It's not true.
Wow, you were ripping it out of the cord, turning. See, I can't see. I can't, as if I'm IT support. James, you saw the entire break. Gold, like I can't see. I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know. But what do you think it is? Like, as if I have the answer. I don't know, Bink. I have no idea,
You're supposed
man.
to have answers for this crap.
I have no clue. I did the same thing I do every day.
You're supposed to have technology. But you send it to me again, it's fine.
You were in the Google Doc. It was blank for you, and you thought I said, man, honestly, that's weird. Yeah, I don't know. And then you proceeded to ask me
what's trending
20 other times during the break. I have no idea. I have no clue.
We're all set
It's
now.
been resolved now,
It's
hasn't
all set
it?
now. It's great.
I had no idea, Bink. I wish we were on camera for the whole thing. It was, the open up. We got the whiskey bottle over there. Might have to crack one of those open. Fan Club Friday. Can we do it on a
Fan Club?
Can we do it on a Tuesday at 12:30? Tuesday at 12:30 or so. Nate Taylor's going to join us in 25 minutes. All right, Bink, let's talk some Chiefs football. You can see it, right? You can see where we're going here.
Finally.
Also, you can see that
users error, senders error.
You can see that. Also, this is where I want to remind people that you can't count on much these days, Bink.
No.
You can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game all season long. Kicking off with the juicy Week 12 matchup between the Colts and the Chiefs. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL.
James and I had juicy information Friday. It's when the YouTube thing was solved right in the middle of the show. And that was great because finally, that was Friday night when they solved the issue. It happened right when we were doing after hours. It's like, now everybody can just go home now and watch football. You don't have to complain anymore.
Yeah, just turn around the car, cancel
just
your
turn
plans.
that car around, just go home. Don't have to complain.
Watch some football.
So one thing that came up towards the end of the show yesterday, I think Drew brought it up, and I was like, hey, actually, we're planning on talking about it today anyway, and so I want to talk about it right now, which is the thought, and it's one that I think has to be on the minds of a lot of people right now, which is in the Chiefs' offensive room in particular. I guess this could apply to defense, but I think it's more of a problem on the offensive side. the idea that there needs to be a fresh voice to join the room, a fresh set of eyes. I think that is always a conversation that can occur when you've been doing something for a very long time, even if you've had an immense amount of success, which, Andy Reid and this coaching staff has had, that it is always good for fresh ideas and fresh opinions. And in this case, if it's somebody even from the college ranks, that's also even maybe better. You don't need to fundamentally change everything you do. No. Why would you? I'm not suggesting that. But if you're willing to accept things have gotten predictable, and that's the question. I don't know if they're willing to accept that is true or not, but that's what we all think from the outside. If that's the case, you need a fresh voice in there. Okay, I'm all about that. My only thing for those suggesting that, do you guys actually think that fresh voice, for example, is going to be given the opportunity to have those ideas used? Now, you've cited an example from years back that I thought that gave me some hope. And what was that again?
Chris Holt, who's on the College Football Playoff Committee, very respected guy in football, kind of started the pistol offense. He's credited for that at the FBS level. Obviously, Andy Reid had Alex Smith at the time, thought it would benefit him doing the pistol formation instead of shotgun for the angles in which way he ran the offense. So they brought in Chris Holt as a consultant to see what the college game was doing, see what maybe Alex Smith could do well with. And it worked out for Alex Smith as far as him bringing in Chris Holt. But he was a consultant that could consult other teams and stuff. But Andy Reid and the Chiefs said no. And he had a exclusive deal with the Chiefs the following year to understand the offense. I thought that was creative because it was something that NFL teams were doing. They were utilizing it. The pistol offense has become a big part of the NFL. And Andy Reid went straight to the guy who basically implemented the FBS level and said, help us, help our offense. Alex Smith, how can we get the best out of him? And it worked. So he has in the past gone and got an outside source to come into the Kansas City Chiefs. So when you think about that, could he do it again? Who's out there that could do it again? I think this time of the year, it's kind of late. I think you build your team throughout the summer, and obviously March and April, the most important times for NFL teams to do this kind of things. But it does show the willingness to listen to the outside. And we always heard he's got a high attention to the college game, what's working, what's not working. They try to implement things from Texas Tech that Patrick Mahomes did that works in this scheme with the Kansas City Chiefs. Matter of fact, a lot of college teams are watching the Kansas City Chiefs to prepare for Texas Tech back in the day because the Chiefs are running the same things that they did. But finding how your players succeeded, what makes them successful at what they did, and kind of go back to the grassroots. Chiefs really on the high upper end trend on that as far as the NFL. It's a big part of their success. Why was this working so well for you before? How can we bring this to the Kansas City Chiefs? And voila, it worked perfectly.
Yeah, I like hearing that example because that gives me at least a little bit of hope that, all right, they have been willing to do that in the past. You mentioned some names. Brad Childress also was a consultant at one point in time as well. And some of these, that to me is something that has to happen moving forward. I know there's a lot of people listening that whenever anything goes bad, they just want to fire Matt Nagy. And he has become, I'm sure in every market, there's probably like some coach or whether we're talking about NFL, baseball, doesn't matter, basketball, where like for whatever reason, that person is the guy that people gravitate toward to blame. And by no means am I saying he is not part of the issue, right? Like they're all like the entire room is part of the issue right now. When you're 5-5 and you sit where you're at. I have always just said, and people view it as like I'm defending Matt Nagy. It's just more like when things are going great, we don't mention him. When things are going terribly, it's all his fault. And I'm just saying there's some happy medium there, right? Like there's some medium there. So he is part of that. But also what I don't know is he pushing Andy Reid to do certain things that are not being done? Are they all just on the exact same page and they neither one of them knows what is wrong? I think another set of eyes is needed. Doesn't necessarily mean that I think they need to fire their offensive coordinator either. You know, I think there's coaching staff changes that are needed in the offseason. Bink. I think on the special team side of things as well, Dave Tobe, with what has happened this year. The thing is, Andy Reid has been with a lot of these guys for a long time. He's extremely loyal. He's won championship with these guys. And I think it is very tough. Put yourself, a lot of people listen today, you maybe run a business, right? And you've been doing something the same way for a long period of time. And you've been in business, hopefully, for 20 years. And you make a very good living, and you've had all this success. And then maybe there's 1 year, but it's not just 1 year. Maybe it's a couple years in a row where you're like, maybe your sales are down or whatever, right? And at that point in time, you think, well, I've been doing it well for 20, like I don't need, it works. Like, why do I need to change what I've done? Trust me, I know. Like, we all have an ego. I know. That finally you convinced yourself to bring somebody new in. And you bring that person in, fresh set of ideas, but you're like, oh, I don't know. That seems kind of crazy. I don't ever do that. And so then you don't actually change, and nothing changes, and you're wasting your time. I think they're at a point now where there's a little bit of, we've been doing this. This has been successful. Gone to 3 straight Super Bowls. That's all true, but it doesn't mean eventually you don't hit a brick wall. And I don't know if they've hit it yet or not, Bink. We're going to find out. Like, you and I both think they still make the playoffs, so clearly not completely. But if it is just if we're going to go with the philosophy with any sport, I don't care if we're talking about a coach or a player. If the idea is, well, they've been great for so long, so they could do no wrong. That's a terrible way to operate. And that'll just get yourself in a ton of trouble. If it is that, well, they were great for 20 years, so there's no way possibly something could be going wrong now. That's a bad way to operate in a lot of different ways.
We've seen this before with Eric Bieniemy, right? When the offense was looking great, it was going good. It was Eric Bieniemy doing a great job. But then we'd always say, well, it's Andy Reid still calling the plays, right? And then the offense would falter. Remember, Bieniemy wasn't a fan favorite for a while, right? Because the offense would slide down.
Right.
And then people were blaming Bieniemy. And now he leaves. Now we think, oh, Eric Bieniemy's the answer. He's the reason the Chiefs' offense was good. Well, which way is it? Do you watch, see what the Lions have been doing lately?
Yeah,
Dan Campbell's got the reading glasses on because he is now a fresh face in the middle of the season. John Morton was their offensive coordinator. The last couple of games, Dan Campbell has been calling the play. So here's the team kind of going through a crossroads with their offense not working like they want it to do. And here's Dan Campbell taking over play calling the last couple of weeks. So it does happen. Like, the Lions are a good example of something that does happen during season. Morton's still there. He's still a part of the offense, but Dan Campbell has taken over the play calling. Whether it's a good idea or not, it's debatable because it wasn't that great last week against Philadelphia. Week 4, it was. But that's an example of changing up in the middle of the season, still keeping everybody there, but changing the direction of what the team's doing. And Dan Campbell calling plays is something different that Detroit is doing in the middle of the year.
Yeah, I get the example. The only thing there is, like, Dan Campbell was Andy Reid's already been doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's already, so the reverse of that would be
it's not going to change.
Yeah, that's not changing. Now, someone brings up a text from the 563 area code. Said, hey, aren't the Chiefs statistically one of the better offenses in the NFL, correct? Yeah, they are. But in the biggest moments, they've also been predictable. Both can be true. We went through the stat comparison. It's why it's so frustrating, because offensive EPA-wise and points per game, they're actually better than they were through 10 last year.
Yeah, number 3 in the NFL.
That's how we started the show in this hour as well. Yeah, that's true. I think both can be accurate. You can make the point, and it's a fair one, that, hey, statistically they look just fine. But also there's the eye test, and also the biggest moments, they've become predictable. That is the case in both ends.
100%. Look, have you guys ever seen that show, Bar Rescue?
I have.
Right.
Many
times.
This
is kind of like
John
that.
Taffer.
Yes,
Meet John Taffer with the Chiefs.
John Taffer comes in there. He's letting you guys know, hey, this is wrong or that's wrong or whatever. And then we see those guys that just won't believe it. And I hope this is what the Chiefs are not turning into, because when you have an outside perspective and you're just so stubborn that you don't believe what a professional is trying to tell you, it could end up being your downfall.
And I think it's incredibly healthy to listen to somebody, just like in training camp. Gruden was here, obviously giving him input on what he sees. And then Antonio Pierce coming in, a guy that once thought he figured out how the Chiefs did things, having him at Chiefs practice, you pick these guys' brains. All right, what are we doing that people are noticing? I always thought it's a great idea, and who knows if teams do it or not. I think it's a great idea for the offensive defensive coordinator to go out to lunch and just have a meeting and just talk. All right, what am I saying? Put your egos aside, because the egos are big in the NFL. All right, how would you, how would you take care? When I'm doing things offensively, what are you seeing that I'm doing that you would say, okay, this is how I defend you? Or if the offensive coordinator said, this is what I would do against your defense, Spag. This is where I think you're lacking in certain areas. But I think open communication between the offensive defensive coordinator and have the head coach in there as well, conferring, all right, because they won't do it. A lot of times teams don't do it because egos are so big. But all right, you've seen me every day in practice. What am I doing wrong? Where is weakness that you see that I'm doing? And in a perfect world, that would work. But unfortunately, ego's getting away.
Yeah, someone said it's nothing different on the text line. Nothing different than what Andy's done his career. Patrick's not bailing him out so far this year. And we've gone through the numbers. Patrick Mahomes has not been as good in these key moments. What was the stat yesterday, Bink? I don't know the exact percentage, but basically it's that he's got the lowest completion percentage among quarterbacks in the fourth quarter in tied games or when you're trailing. That's not normal for Mahomes. It is not just one individual person's problem. It is not just Andy Reid. It's not just Mahomes. It's not just Matt Nagy, et cetera. It's not. We went through this yesterday. But yeah, I think some of it, no doubt, has been, even if you disagreed with the lack of running in key moments, they haven't really ever done that, admittedly. And you're right, Mahomes, like on the 3rd and 2, Brashard Smith, if he sees him quicker and makes the throw immediately, that should be a completion. So you're right. Those are throws in the past that Mahomes would make. Totally agree with you there. My only thing would be if your quarterback, while he is still, I think, the best quarterback in football, despite what other QBs are currently doing, Matthew Stafford's having an MVP-type season, Drake May, I still would pick Patrick Mahomes over any of those quarterbacks. I still have that belief. All right, and Andy Reid obviously does as well. But I still think you can have that feeling, what I just said, and still recognize that, hey, maybe in this moment, in this game, my quarterback maybe just isn't in that spot, in that mode, that maybe I do have to pivot. So, yes, that Mahomes has been bailing at times out Andy Reid. If that's not happening currently, though, like, this is where I'm like, can you not adjust in that particular moment? Just because that's how you did it every other year before. Why is it? It's ego is the answer, I think. But like, why in that moment can you not pivot from that?
Well, you have to, and it's also the other things that are happening around him. Untimely penalties, like a Juwan Taylor, with guys dropping the football, which clearly has happened, or ball bouncing off players' hands like it did in the Eagles game with Travis Kelce, and the fact they've given up more sacks. And I get it, Josh Simmons is back. This helps the Chiefs, but they are 22nd in the NFL in giving up sacks. They give up 20 this year, which is higher, right? They were 31st in the NFL 2 years ago. They weren't getting to the quarterback and sacking Patrick Mahomes. But with these things, and I get it, with Patrick Mahomes and, delivering at the end of the game, but it takes everybody to kind of put things together, attention to detail, and do the right things as well.
Before we get to random question of the day, someone texted in, I hear you have Mike McDaniels back in the booth today. I can't remember the guy's name, but that third guy in the studio today sounds like Mike McDaniels. That's James Howell. He's filling in producing for Drew today.
No, it's 3-time Super Bowl champion from youth football, James Howell.
That's true. Do you think have you been told ever? Can you talk for a second? Just talk.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Do you think you sound like Mike McDaniel?
I've never heard that ever.
I don't hear it either. I don't hear it.
Do you have a Mike McDaniels cut to play?
Let me see. Hold on. Somewhere I do. Hold on. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. 2 people texted that in. Here's Mike McDaniel talking for a second. The actual Mike McDaniel.
There's a lot of guys that will have an important work week.
All right, say the same thing. There's a lot of guys that have an important work week.
There's a lot of guys that have an important work week.
There's a lot of guys that will have an important work week.
I don't know if I fully hear it. Anyway, let's get to the
little Mike McDaniels in you.
Let's get to the random question of the day. He's got the facial hair. He's got the glasses.
But he wins games. Big difference.
Random question of the day brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. All right, this is pretty simple. 913-586-7965. If you work in an office, you know this exists. What's the grossest thing in your office? Simple. I based this off of what I was just discussing right when we came back from break. We got new computer equipment in the studio. Our keyboard's brand new now, thank goodness. It was the most disgusting thing. Guys, I should have taken a photo before they replaced it. It was one of the more disgusting things I've ever seen. Like I'm pretty sure COVID basically developed inside the keyboard. That's where it started, actually, many, many years ago, despite other speculation. I think that's the answer. Do you disagree? Was the keyboard, and by the way, it's still sitting. Actually, we can show it. You want to hand it to me? You want to bring it? I'm sure the boss will love me doing this.
The other one?
What's that?
Is that the one that was your computer?
I don't know. They're both disgusting, Bink. It's the same keyboard. Anyway, point being, that's the grossest item that we had. I don't know what the new item is now. I'll have to look around. But it was clearly a keyboard. Well, Carrington normally there's a chewed pin right over here. Okay. Normally Carrington has the chewed pin. That's kind of nasty too. But the keyboard was the grossest thing in the office. Do you guys have an answer? Text line, a few people saying coworker's desk, egg salad sandwich, CDOT's chewed pens. Yeah.
Stuff left in the fridge is always bad. When people leave it in there for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, way past the date, that's disgusting. I think I'm guilty as well. I mean, I think a I've been told that a chew cup is not exactly appealing for coworkers to see, so I'm guilty of that.
Mm-hmm. You work over on the board, Mike McDaniels. So what do you think? What's the answer there? By the way, the text line is saying it's your cadence. That they think your cadence is just like Mike McDaniels.
Wachowski used to get Cheetos on the keys back there.
Yeah, no. To your point, man, they didn't replace this keyboard, so it might be this keyboard that I have here. But other than that, man, just any high traffic area, doorknobs, bathroom doors. I mean, like anything where people touch everything. It's all.
I've said it before. You know what the most disgusting thing every person owns?
Yeah, it's their phone. Yeah.
It's their phone.
Yeah,
because it's replaced the newspaper in the bathroom. Everybody takes with them.
It's just you set it down on everything.
Yeah, and if you borrow somebody's phone, I mean, you're getting.
Someone says, I'd be sanitizing the chairs after you guys sit in them for 4 hours. It's true. Look, Dusty sits in this chair for 4 hours, and I sit in the chair for 4 hours, and Carrington sits in the chair for 4 hours. Bink, on your side, it's Fesco, and then Cody normally, obviously, on that side.
But Logan and I sit there at night, so that chair's used a lot.
The chair gets used. Someone said, you can clean the keyboard. You can, but we're not allowed to really clean the equipment, so that's on somebody else. So, yes, the keyboard definitely could be, what do they call
sanitizer or something?
No, the spray, you know what I'm talking about, the...
Can air.
Thank you. Canned air thing. Yeah. You could do that, but we're not supposed to do that. But in the future, maybe that needs to happen.
I just
a little bit more.
It worked, though. It still worked.
Text slide is stuck on the Mike McDaniels thing. Someone else says, Debbie at work is gross. Sorry, Debbie. Someone says, going to people's houses, if you want to talk about disgusting. Someone else says, people who never wash their coffee mugs.
I can see that one, too.
An open coffee creamer bottle that fell behind the fridge was there for months. No one could find it. Someone else says, just wash your hands, keep your fingers out of your mouth, and you should be fine.
Fesco actually sanitizes everything when he works, yeah. He's very clean
Lysol
around Bob. Bob's very clean.
I appreciate
Extremely
that.
clean. I do, too.
I appreciate that. Yeah, the keyboard was true. Like, I'm so glad that, like, you have no idea. I'm very happy that we got new computers. Mainly, I just wanted a new keyboard because that was one of the most disgusting things.
You might have them do it every year. They said they would.
Yeah. Someone said, who at the Odyssey building is known for being on their phone while taking a deuce? Cannot say that on the air.
Yeah, pretty much every workplace in the city.
I'm not going to say that person's name on the
People
air.
used to hide the newspaper going to the bathroom. It had that sports page in their pocket. It's their phone now.
Yeah.
It happens everywhere. It's not just
what about the nail clippings? Oh, yeah. We did have somebody that used to work over at our sister station, KMBZ. He doesn't work there anymore. And remember, in the bullpen area, he would clip his fingernails. I guess it could be toenails, but fingernails, that's bad. That's bad.
Oh, yeah. When I was with Cody, you were flying to the Bahamas.
Okay.
And you had mentioned that somebody took their shoes off right on the plane. I was like, oh, man, Alex
That's
hates
not at
this.
work. That's not at work, though. But yes, I did, as I was joking about it before I left, the person that was sitting next to me absolutely was barefoot, feet on the seat. Yeah, that happened. That's gross. It's gross for you, too. Like, if you're her, like, that's gross for you. Like, why would you want your bare feet on that seat?
Yeah. We felt bad for you.
Did you? That is.
Was the whole way or just to Atlanta or Miami?
That was just to Miami, and then there was a different flight, yeah. No issues on the flight back. We were all good. That's the random question of the day. We'll have to ask Nate Taylor about Mike McDaniel because everybody is convinced now. They said it's the aloofness of his voice. They both definitely smoke weed. That's what they're saying about you, James. That's the connection they're making as well.
I don't know what you guys are talking
about.
Okay,
yeah, exactly. Up next, we will get to the 1 o'clock hour. Nate Taylor from ESPN, our Chiefs insider, going to join us. I want to ask him, of course, about where the Chiefs sit currently in the playoff race. As a franchise moving forward, does he agree with some of the coaching issues? That's next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Guys, have you started noticing your focus is off? Maybe you're not remembering family events, or you just don't feel the same. Synergen X and Low T Center have clinics all over town so you can start receiving care. There's no reason to continue to delay this when you could start feeling like yourself again. They give you the power to choose to be treated in the clinic or at home, and a free TRT test is at the center with results in as little as 20 minutes. Look, you don't want to keep feeling bad all the time. You want really good testosterone treatment plans that are designed for you. Customized TRT plans at the best place in the city. That's Synergen X and Low T Center. So stop waiting and find out. The best is waiting for you. So get off the sideline and get that free T test now. Go to fixmylowt.com. That's fixmylowt.com.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Is your garage door too loud and whining for help? Overhead Door Company of Kansas City will make it all better. They will perform their full 26-task garage door tune-up for just $79. That's just $79 for up to 3 garage doors and openers. You need this done once a year, so why not now? And for just $79. Call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City at 816-221-0072 or schedule online at overheaddoorkc.com.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. Starting on December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. With live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started. All on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. And you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game of FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/25. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth. Why not start today?
This season, the perfect gift is back, the McRib. Now at McDonald's, you can buy a McRib Extra Value Meal with medium fries and a medium soft drink, like a Dr. Pepper, and add another McRib sandwich for just $1 to give to someone special. Someone special. That could be anyone, right? Like I'm special. Listen to how well I do the jingle. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Valid for item of equal or lesser value. Dr. Pepper is a registered trademark of Dr. Pepper 7-Up, Inc.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Not available in all states. Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary. Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a mere fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. For free information and to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, simply go online and visit DRA.com or call 800-474-1811. 800-474-1811. That's 800-474-1811.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Listen to the Chiefs and Colts on Sunday with pregame starting at 9. Kickoff at noon with Mitch, Danon, and Kling. Right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey Sports Station.
1 o'clock hour on a Tuesday. Cody and Gold, Alex Gold with you. James Howell filling in for Drew. Jay Binkly filling in for Cody.
Mike McDaniel back there.
Mike McDaniel producing the show. And now I'm never going to be able to hear you speak without thinking it's Mike McDaniel again. Thank you, text line. James, look, you just go with it, man. Just go with it. He might be an OC somewhere next year.
He's an NFL head coach right now.
Right now, he's a head coach. The team hasn't quit on him. Mike McDaniel's got the team still playing hard.
3 of the last 4 games he's won.
That's true.
I tell you what, I wish my money was long like Mike McDaniel's.
You wish you're flipping off the. No, you didn't flip him off, but you drove by the Buffalo Bills watch party afterwards.
James to start vaping real quick.
No.
And then it'll fit. Then it'll fit perfectly.
Did you see him drive by that Buffalo Bills watch party?
Yes. And we played the answer. He claimed it was AI.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, he obviously drove by. Nate Taylor is going to join us in just a couple of minutes. We'll get him in studio here in a little while. We'll talk some Chiefs football with Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from ESPN. I didn't do this as a full topic today, but while we're waiting for Nate, I figured we could talk about it. You're actually a good person to have filling in for this conversation, Bink, because you focus probably in on the offensive line more than most people, I would say. And earlier we were talking about Josh Simmons, and I thought he was really, really good on Sunday. It's a great sign moving forward for the team to have him back. He will speak to the media tomorrow. That's the expectation, I believe. He'll speak for the first time, Josh Simmons, so that's nice. We'll see what he has to say. And I didn't realize this until people were tweeting out clips of for other reasons. People were tweeting out the 3rd and 2 play because Mahomes misses Brashard Smith and everything. But on that play, and then I went back and I was thinking, it's like, I noticed this in the Buffalo game. I noticed in the Washington game as well. We're back to the low snaps from Creed Humphrey. That was a thing, remember, 2 years ago, I guess it's been at this point in time. It was 2 years ago. Then he cleaned it up. No issue.
Still all pro, yeah.
He changed I can't remember what the exact technique was. He changed something with how he was snapping the football. I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. It's back. Have you noticed this? I did not know until this week. All of a sudden, the low snaps are kind of back, too.
Especially for a team that goes shotgun all the time.
Well, and that... More reason potentially when we get into the under center conversation. Look, I think he can correct it because Creed Humphrey has corrected it before. But all of a sudden, I've noticed the last 2 or 3 games, low snaps are back. Not every time, but it happened in a crucial spot again there on a 3rd and 2.
And these are all things that impact the quarterback because it's that trust thing with your trusting your offensive line or where the snap's going to be, if guys are going to be at the right place. Again, the sacks are up for the Chiefs. This year, they've given up 20 so far, 22nd in the NFL, just 31st 2 years ago. So it's that trust thing. You got to trust everybody in front of you. The snap is a huge part of it, and trusting players will be in not a legal formation. There's a lot of things that go into things with that attention to detail, but I noticed it as well.
Yeah, I wonder if Andy will be asked about that later on in the week as well. Just curious if it's something that they've noticed, if it's something that they're working on or whatever. There's a long list of issues right now, and it's probably lower on the list than others, but it's just something that I've noticed a little bit as we welcome in Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from ESPN. Nate, good to see you. Glad you're in studio, man. Yeah. I know. We'll get his James. We'll get his microphone.
It's Mike McDaniel.
It's Mike McDaniel now. Our fill-in producer is Mike McDaniel. People think he sounds like the same cadence and everything. Nate.
Wow.
It's Mike McDaniel.
Okay. He coaches too.
Interesting.
Well, it's good to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Obviously, last week we moved some things around. You shared something publicly already, and I don't know if you're willing to talk about it as well. But no. You shared it on your KCSN podcast and show.
Yep.
And we're glad to have you on the show, man, and glad to see everything is going great. But if you it's been a kind of a crazy couple weeks, it sounds like, for you too.
It has. It's been about a crazy month or so. So very quickly. And again, great to be back. Hope everybody's doing well. I found out about a month ago that I had kidney cancer, essentially. I had found through an incidental diagnosis, I think is what they termed it. I went to the hospital for some back pain in my lower back that I've had, kind of consistently on and off. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, like, as you get older, your body starts doing things. And so, I did a CT scan. And then they did another one, and then they found out, and thankfully to all the doctors and the nurse practitioners, obviously the surgeons and the specialists, they found a cyst in my right kidney. And based on my age, based on where it's located, the fact that it had been growing in my body for a while without my knowledge, they said it was a 95% chance that it was cancerous. And so last Tuesday, we kind of scheduled it as best we could with the bye week and whatnot. But last Tuesday, had the procedure to have the cyst not removed, but they call it cryotherapy, which is they stick a giant needle in your back and freeze the tumor and around the soft tissue area of the kidney. And then that essentially kills the tumor, kills it, for the last, I guess, week now. It's crazy to think that that procedure was last week. It's been, I felt better each day.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit of a wild headspace to be when you're like, oh, hey, I didn't know I had this. And thank goodness we found it. Thank goodness I went to the doctor in the hospital for something else that needed to be treated at the time that was considered minor compared to this. Because I would not have known. Symptoms would have more popped up, I guess, 2 or 3 years later on. And that would have been perhaps more difficult to where, talking to the specialists and other people who've had a similar procedure, my whole kidney could have been removed had this thing grown, or if it was located in a different spot, or if it was signs of that it was obviously going to not just be in my kidney, that it was going to be, maybe traveling to other places in my body. So, grateful to be here. Very thankful that the procedure went well. Returned to work on Sunday. Who, buddy?
yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back.
It's a nice welcome back to me. I didn't think about this either, because again, you're just like, this is the job. Again, incredibly grateful to do it. And then you're like, wait, I had a legitimate procedure. Didn't know really anything that happened Wednesday or Thursday. Wasn't here, guys. And it's like, no, I'll be fine. I'll get on a plane and oh, that's right. We're in the altitude, and I'm trying to move my body for the first time in a while.
I wondered about that.
Oh, this is tough. This is tough. So,
we're thankful everything turned out very well with the procedure. And,
I'll say this about you, Nate. You're always a huge fighter, man. It's good to see your attitude.
Thank you. Yeah,
great attitude.
I appreciate it.
We're glad to hear that everything's going well now. And I think someone texted this in. I think they're right. Especially our audience is majority men that are listening. So I think it's very important. You alluded to this as well, and it's true. It's guys typically don't like going to the doctor. It's just for whatever it may be. But your body told you something wasn't right. Now you didn't think it was this, but you got something checked out.
Correct. So. Gentlemen, as you get older, or if you're older than me, I'm 38. So I've had an immense amount of great health through the course of my life, right? I played, I think, pickleball with my kid who's 10, who loves pickleball. Hayden loves it. And I didn't stretch. I did all the dumb things you're not supposed to do. I'm a man, therefore I'm an idiot. So it's no, we'll just go out there and I'll just smack you around for a little bit. It was quite the contrary. And so getting the CT scan sort of confirmed that I had a what's the term? Basically, I had nerve damage in my lower back.
Okay.
To where it's hey, we need to give you it's I really don't want to take. And again, this is learning from guys in the league, right? This is from people that I interview all the time. You don't really want to take pain medication if you don't have to. So the doctor's like, hey, we could probably do some steroid. You got to relax. You got to you got to stretch in the morning, man. Like, I'm just at that stage in my life. And so you're like, dang, I just can't get up and get at it as soon as possible. But had I not gone and had I not learned that, like, okay, I need to manage my lower back differently, like, it is unnerving to have the doctor say, oh, and another thing, let me sit down. We saw something really weird in your kidney. Yeah. And you're like, huh? So I would have had no idea. And, I go to the doctor regularly, twice a year, basically. And I never done a CT scan before. So that was the difference, was that and this is normally, and I want to say this for our men too, like, this is normally how kidney cancer is discovered. It is, based on my understanding, it is through, like, you having something going on with your back or your lungs or, like, something going on in your torso, right? If you have heart issues, like, they will scan your body, and then this is normally how it is discovered. And then it's just a matter of how quickly was it discovered, when can they treat it, how can they treat it, and do you have options, right? At least I had options where I didn't have to have my entire kidney removed, which when we got to that portion, and Holly was with me in the specialist room, Dr. Sweat. Dr. Sweat was really nice. She was very detailed, and it was like the whole time you're like, am I gonna like go to the hospital tomorrow? Like, am I gonna have basically immediate surgery? And like, it was like, okay, well, that's good. I'm not gonna do that. But also, like, yeah, you probably have cancer, and we probably need to take care of it as soon as possible. And thank goodness that, Dr. Yost encouraged me to go to the hospital. They, recommended this. And it's just for about a month now, or for about a month, I should say, I was seeing someone every 2 to 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Before we got to the point of, like, how quickly can we do this from the outpatient care? How quickly can we get you in the hospital? How quickly does it take for you to, like, recover? Obviously, trying to coordinate work along the way. I got, if people don't know this, I got a wife. I got 2 kids. Like, there's all these things going on. But, yeah, just really thankful that, because I was feeling unusual, I wasn't at least afraid to, like, go seek help. And I think that's one of the things that anyone in the health department will tell you is that, like, they have such expertise, and the technology now has improved so drastically that you are doing yourself a disservice if you don't seek treatment.
Scans are very good for people to get.
Mm-hmm.
Verify that.
Yes.
Nate Taylor joining us in studio. Well, great to have you back, man.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you back on the show. Glad to see that things are heading in the right direction.
It's only going to get worse from here, right? For the next however many minutes. Guys, it's only going to get worse, right?
So you mentioned you got back at it into Denver.
In the altitude.
And the biggest regular season game, I thought, going in of Mahomes' career, with the implications, of course, results in a 22-19 loss. We can get to the playoff stuff in a second. Let me just start with what you saw in Denver. Was it much different than what you had seen in other games? Like, especially because we've been talking throughout the last 48 hours that a lot of the crucial mistakes were very similar. That we all know about the one-score game stuff. It's like we're truly talking about 1 or 2 plays in these games all year.
Yeah.
Late in the game, as you know, people, like myself included, have been talking about the run game and everything as well. We've had these conversations. This just was the biggest game. And so now there's real implications about this run, maybe of going to the postseason, legitimately being in jeopardy.
Yeah. The playoffs start Sunday for the Chiefs because of their, how can I say this? Because of their lack of concentration. I don't think it's anything that the Denver Broncos did necessarily. When I went back, and I even rewatched the offense this morning, and it is nothing. You don't really see what Denver did effectively until about midway through the fourth quarter, because I think at that point they had gotten a beat as to like how the play calling was going, how the tempo was going to be. Obviously, they were in somewhat of an advantageous position, whether it was 1916 or 1919. Guys, there's not a single soul on that offense that did not make a mistake. And I think it comes to a lack of concentration because they're clearly talented enough to do what they should be doing. I don't want to name everybody because we would be here forever.
Yeah.
But I think one of the differences this year compared to last year, and I think it's been hard for people to wrap their minds around how can this team be so good in one-score games one year, the best we've ever seen in the history of the National Football League, to this season, okay, you've put yourself in an opportunity to win a game, and you can't make the correct plays because your lack of concentration is so paramount. Last year, the quarterback could still stabilize things. And I think now when I rewatch, especially the last two games, once other guys start making mistakes, I do think it has an empirical effect on Mahomes to where he cannot rise to the challenge of trying to lift all boats, essentially. He deflated himself. If you really watch, he deflates himself on that first drive in the third quarter. He is decisive. He is surgical. He moves them right down into midfield. He made no bad decisions. The play calls I thought were actually very good in terms of setting the tempo. Hey, it's 6-6. We're going to restart the game. The whole point of this drive is to A, get points, and B, hopefully get a touchdown. He makes that pass, I believe, to Kareem Hunt that gets them down to the 2-yard line. And whether you watch the All-22 or the TV broadcast, there's a flag. There's Jawan Taylor not in his proper position. Instead of 1st and goal from the 2.5-yard line, you're now 1st and 15, and you could see Mahomes' body just go, all right, he makes a nice little short pass to Robert Tonyan, whatever, and then it's 3rd and 14, and now he's got to go into superhero mode, and that leads to his interception, right? Normally, you would tell every quarterback on God's green earth, just throw the ball away, because Denver had a good play call, right? Because they're in the advantage. We're going to double team everybody because it's 3rd and 15. We don't even 4-man rush. We ain't got to do nothing crazy, nothing special. But now Mahomes feels like I got to go above and beyond. And I think that's a clear difference between this year and last year. When you see the last two drives of the game, he's now sped up in a way mentally that I think is all because of what happened the first 3 quarters of the game. They never got control. They had a lead at one point. It should have been a 4-point lead, as we all know. Special teams has been an abysmal, just abysmal, guys. I cannot stress enough that one of the reasons why you are losing these one-score games also is because Harrison Butker missed an extra point in Sao Paulo that would have made it a 13-13 game. His, PAT got blocked because of poor blocking schemes, whatever. There's a penalty every time Nico Remigio tries to tell you that he's important to the team, even though I think his production has gotten worse and worse as the course of the season's gone on. But he can't lift all boats, and the play calling now doesn't help the quarterback in the fourth quarter. So I know that's a lot to throw at people, but Mahomes was so good in the fourth quarter last year. And even when he wasn't good in the fourth quarter, on the rare occasion, it's like, hey, Leo Chanel has the block field goal attempt last year when he wasn't, playing at his absolute best against the Denver Broncos. Hey, didn't play your best against the Vegas Raiders on Black Friday, basically, but the defense stepped up, and there was a defense that made sure that, hey, they were going to win that game. So, that interception in Buffalo, terrible, but hey, I just got to throw it up there because, what else do I have? The offensive line is not blocking for me today. He cannot, I think Mahomes has not played well, but I think the mistakes of everyone around him slowly built up to him not meeting the moment in the fourth quarter when there was 4 minutes left. You have the possession. They can't even get a first down. But had his teammates played better leading up to that moment, maybe the quarterback's in a better mindset, a better position, has more confidence, because the only guy he could trust in the second half was Travis Kelce. And I think that goes to the quarterback not lifting everybody else, but everybody else not supporting the quarterback better.
And I agree with that. It's the attention to detail in the second half.
It's so bad.
In the trust, because he's gotten sacked 20 times this year.
Correct.
So it's 22nd in the NFL. It's much different than before. But you got to trust everybody. Trust the guys to catch the football. Trust them being in the right frame. But when you're thinking about everybody else's position, you can't concentrate. Back to Pete Carroll in a book he once wrote. when a player can trust the other players around him, he can perform at a high level because you have the complete trust in everybody else. And that's certainly lacking with some of the things the Chiefs do down the stretch. The ball's bouncing the other direction. Is there something you've noticed, Nate? I want to ask you is with the teams and how they look at the Chiefs, because I look at the Chiefs when they get to that point that New England was the big dog on the block, right? They bring in Spags, the New England killer there in the Super Bowl, and they bring in Tyrann Mathieu, change that culture of the defense. Are there teams that kind of stand out to you that are geared to beat the Kansas City Chiefs? And I'll bring up New England, Buffalo. 6 of their 7 draft picks, the first 5 were all on defense. They bring in Bosa to stop the Chiefs. Maybe they should have been worried more about the Patriots than the Kansas City Chiefs specifically. But Denver, I get it. With the Raiders drafting a running back in the first round, the Chargers doing the same thing. The Broncos drafted Jahdae Barron, and he had that pick 6 that was called back.
Correct.
And he has another interception this year. That's to stop Mahomes. I look at how the Broncos built the roster, and with Buffalo, it's with Kansas City in mind. When I see certain teams, I think of that when I see Buffalo and Denver to beat their team that was built to stop the Chiefs.
Yeah, and, New England has a very solid defense, right? I don't think they're probably as good as Denver, but it's clear that Sean Payton's no dummy. So if we can have a 5-man front, and this was kind of demonstrated in the Super Bowl last year, but if we can have a 5-man front and we don't have an exact hole in the secondary, which they don't, even without Patrick Surtain, perhaps their best defensive player, you could say either him or Nick Bonito, that's the reason why they have the draft pick, right? It's like we want to make sure that we make his life difficult, that we don't have as many tells for Andy Reid and Matt Nagy, in that game. And even though the offense moves the ball well, the Broncos are like, what we not going to do is make a mistake in the red zone. Somebody's going to have to make a play. And the only reason why the Chiefs scored 1 time in the red zone in their 4 attempts is because Travis Kelce made a guy miss and got in the end zone. I think what's fascinating about this upcoming game against Indianapolis, to your point, Jay, is, hey, they can play man coverage just as much as the Broncos. Now that they have, we assume, Traverse Ward back and healthy, and the trade with Sauce Gardner, they don't have many holes in their secondary either. So it's a matter of, can they generate enough pressure, similar to Buffalo, similar to Denver. I know Denver is adequate. I wouldn't necessarily call them good or very good, but they're adequate because they know who they are. And I think the Chiefs are still, in a strange manner, trying to figure out who they are 10 weeks into the season, which is very unusual. But the lack of attention to detail, the lack of concentration at moments, the up and down inconsistencies in terms of performance lead you to have more questions about, like, well, who is this team this year? Because for 10 games, it's not as defined as I know exactly who the Patriots are, who the Colts are, who the Broncos are.
Well, that trust thing came to me too, Nate. It was a couple of weeks ago. It was Noah Gray. Mahomes put the ball. Nobody was there. It was at the 5-yard line. It's where he was expecting Noah Gray to go. Now, the play that was called had him running toward the end, and the safety was coming up.
Right.
And so Mahomes didn't throw him to him because the safety coming up. But Mahomes' mind is it's that trust factor. Trust the player to break off said route, which he's so used to Kelce and Rice doing.
Yep.
And that play stands out to me because he put the ball on the 5 there. No one is around it because he expected Noah Gray to break off the route and do that.
Yeah.
That comes with the whole trust in your receivers and tight ends.
And again, you've been in the system long enough, you're Noah Gray, right? Where, like, you should know this is where I want you to react based on the defense. Maybe having the right call. We can't get it right 100% of the time, but we should have ways to adjust based on what the defense does.
Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from ESPN, with us here on a Tuesday on Cody and Gold. When we come back, I want to talk about the predictability right now of the offense. You buy into that with some of the coaching and play calling. Also, the playoff path for Kansas City. What's it look like? Does Nate agree with me and Bink on what they have to do in the final 7? That's next.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Chris Jones. You're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
It's Cody and Gold, and you guys know we've been telling you about Centric, whereas in as little as 4 months, you can find a brand new career in IT. Take it from our friend Colin.
Before Centric, I tried community college, and when that didn't work, I went to Centric. Their IT career program helped me land my first job in cybersecurity, and in just a few years, I worked my way up to a remote senior role with great pay and real work-life balance. Centric gave me the jumpstart I needed.
Colin's got the right idea. He was ready for that new career and knew Centric was his path to do it. Reach out to our guy, Russ Mondry, at Centric.com and start that new career.
The end of the year is rapidly approaching. We want to say thank you for another successful year as your neighborhood plumber. It's a privilege to be one of the few local family-run companies around. This time of year is when water heaters start to struggle. So through the end of the year, we are offering $250 off a tank replacement or $500 off a tankless water heater. So call 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
Ready for action, basketball fans? BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, is giving players another reason to hit the court this season. BetMGM is adding extra excitement to every basket, every slam dunk, and every buzzer-beating shot with special promotions, new features, and more. Log in throughout the season to find odds boost tokens, no sweat tokens, and same-game parlay boost tokens in your account to amplify your winnings. Enjoy enhanced product features like Dark Mode 2. Log into BetMGM, an authorized gaming partner of the NBA, all throughout the basketball season to see what's new. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after a Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Offer good in-store and online. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Imagine this. It's Thanksgiving Day, and instead of juggling pots and pans, you're actually enjoying it. Hy-Vee's got your holiday covered with convenient pre-made meal packs for any size gathering. Fresh, ready-to-heat favorites like juicy turkey, honey glazed ham, or prime rib, plus all the classic sides, rolls, and desserts. And don't forget to swing by the wine and spirits department to make it a feast to remember. Pick up your meal the day before, heat it up, and serve it like you cooked all day. This Thanksgiving, let Hy-Vee do the cooking. You get the credit. Only at Hy-Vee.
Every big play starts with a first down, and every financial future starts with the right partner. Main Street Credit Union is not-for-profit and member-owned, which means we invest in you with guidance that's clear, tools that make sense, and people who actually listen. We're here to help you move the chains. Whatever your next move is, auto loan, savings goal, or paying off debt, let's make it one play at a time. Visit MainStreetCU.org to get started.
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Kansas Lottery Holiday Millionaire Raffle is your best odds of winning $1 million. The next early bird drawing is November 16th for a chance at $30,000.
You've got a big day. So you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
boss, 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 bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppables beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
If you've been waiting to try learning a new language with Babbel, now is the time. Babbel's biggest sale is about to start, but we're giving you early access. Unlock all of the languages on Babbel with a lifetime subscription, now at our best price of the year, which means a small investment for all your big adventures. Babbel's bite-sized lessons fit easily into your daily routine and are easy to remember. Plus, Babbel teaches you relevant words and phrases, so you can start speaking with confidence in as little as 3 weeks. And with a lifetime access to all of Babbel's languages, lessons, podcasts, and cultural insights, just imagine what you can do, or rather, where you could go. So if you've been putting off booking that Pastapalooza in Rome for fear of mispronouncing gnocchi, take advantage of early access to Babbel's biggest sale of the season. Where will Babbel take you? Find out at Babbel.com. Don't wait to start your language learning adventure. This offer ends November 20th. Get Babbel's lifetime access for less for a limited time at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. RENNER forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew a Halloween costume would change my life and lead me to Renner Garage Door? Renner's KC's go-to team for service, repair, and replacement.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold with you. Jay Binkly filling in for Cody. James Howell producing today for Drew. We got Nate Taylor as he joins us each and every Tuesday talking some Chiefs football. Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from ESPN. All right, so we were talking a little bit about the game, obviously. This next half hour, I want to focus in a little bit on, I guess, bigger picture stuff with this team. We can get to playoffs in a second, but look, this is a coaching staff that has had as much success as any coaching staff in NFL history. And Hall of Famer at head coach, if there was ever going to be a coordinator on the defensive side to be a Hall of Famer, it would be Steve Spagnuolo. Like nobody is taking anything away from what they have accomplished. But do you agree with the sentiment? And yesterday, a big theme of this show was about coaching. It doesn't mean that's not on Mahomes as well, as you laid out some of the things he's not doing. But I thought for the first time, frankly, during this run, I can pinpoint that particular game, whether it was Tobe, whether it was Andy, whether it was Spags, and you can go down the line into assistants as well. Or position coach as well. I thought the entire coaching staff was terrible on Sunday with the game plan. I thought coaching more than ever was a problem in that particular game, and a lot of it has to do with the predictive nature. Do you think any of that is overblown? We're hearing Chris Jones talk about how the Broncos knew it was coming. They're paid to look at film too. I get it.
Sure.
Right? But late in games and the way Andy approaches it, and like coaches have egos. We all know this, like especially when you have the success that these guys have had. Do you think that a fresh set of eyes looking beyond this year is something that is warranted? And my thing has been, it sounds great in theory, but is this a coaching staff or a head coach that would be willing to even take the input that otherwise we're wasting our time?
So the question that I've been asking for about a month now, maybe more, a little more than a month, because again, of the 0-2 start and that nature. So let's say the majority of the year, right? The question I've been asking is it coaching arrogantly or is it coaching hubris because you're just so high on what you've done based on everything you said about how dynastic this run has been? It is honestly, outside of Bill Belichick and what the Patriots did, there has been nothing like this ever. like they've been to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. Like, no team in the modern era can say that. And it has largely been built on the nucleus of this coaching staff. Sometimes I thought they have coached arrogantly because, well, this is mostly worked, and we have so much trust in our system that we can dictate to you. Now it feels like, even though the personnel says you should be able to do that, that's actually not happening. I know I'm not the first person to say this. I know that Kareem Hunt, as your number one running back, does give you limitations. I know that he's 30 and he's battling through it. Hand him the ball till the wheels fall off.
5 yards of carry in the first half.
You have to, based on the alignments that you're presenting and the coverages that you're getting with the last two opponents, the Broncos and the Bills, saying, we don't need a third linebacker. We don't need those. What do you mean? We'll just play in dime. We'll be in nickel. And we'll be fine playing that. We want you to hold the ball, actually, Mahomes, so that our pass rush can be effective, especially that was the Bill strategy. And it's like, you guys have been saying for the majority of the year how cool it will be for Brashard Smith to grow throughout the course of the season. They handed him the ball one time.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, it's his least amount of opportunity, like I feel like in weeks.
Yes, and of course, this coming off a bye week, and yes, I don't know if it was, they didn't really say on the broadcast or on the game, whether that was a Trey Smith sort of hold or a Josh Simmons hold, hard to tell. Whatever. But, like, you handed him the ball one time in the game, once. Elijah Mitchell, say what you will about him, he's on the field.
He was active for the first time all year.
You got to kind of use him. They are trying to do two things at the same time on offense. And it's so clear to me that they want to be a deep strike offense. They have the personnel to do it. It's unfortunate that the quarterback missed two. I mean, just got to have them in the first possession. But their offense is at its best when Mahomes can push the ball downfield.
Sure.
But they can't do that every play.
And so
the issue is, well, you're not mirroring any of those things. Like the running game doesn't mirror the passing game, right? It's not like, hey, naked boots because we do outside zone or we do stretch, right? Where you can sort of match the two things together. They're trying to run Kareem Hunt, again, in the red zone. They're trying to run Kareem Hunt out of shotgun when all year it has said that don't work.
No, under center.
Get under center.
Everybody's been talking about this.
Second and two, get under center. Instead, he goes and tries to say, okay, well, we've been doing these RPOs, so why don't we give him like a kind of an RPO look, but it's not really an RPO look.
I'm glad you brought up the RPO stuff because yesterday, obviously, you were on the press conference. You were at the press conference at the Zoom call and everything. And I want to play the answer again for the audience. I know you already know what he said, but I want to play it again. I thought this was interesting, especially towards the end. Let me just play this again.
That's obviously a good question. So I know you know all this, but it's we're calling quite a few of the RPOs. So yesterday they were giving us opportunities to throw the football. So we utilized the opportunities there. And those things end up being as good as a run for you. We're getting 4+ yards, and you go with it. And but the runs are being called. It's just sometimes they get turned into passes in today's world. That's how it goes. So, but we're getting them in now. We have some hard runs where you just get up, line up, and go. Probably could call more of those to be, for you to write something there.
For you to
thank you, Coach. Yeah, I'm waiting to write it, baby.
Look, by the way, simple answer from me would be, well, then call more of the hard runs.
Yes.
But also, look, I will say the only thing I'll say in fairness to them, the 3rd and 2. If Mahomes sees Brashard Smith, they had the play dialed up correctly. It's a first down. Like
it's a
the
first
play's
down.
there, Mahomes did not execute. Like that, as much as I would have liked to run there, they had the play. The play should have worked. They did not execute. That play was not on coaching. However, in general, back-to-back 3-and-outs. Like RPOs, Mahomes, a little bit. It almost sounded like he put it on Mahomes a little bit in general with hey, he keeps checking, he keeps choosing to pass. But the Broncos weren't worried about your run game. That's also why they're
correct.
That's what I don't get, and that's what you were saying a few minutes ago, which is is it arrogance or whatever? It's we want to win a certain way. We want to be the fun offense and everything. We don't want to be grinding out the clock late running the football. But you know what? In this particular game, I think they actually win the game if they do that.
And the reason they won so many one-score games last year, guys, is because they were efficient in elongated drives. 10 or more plays. They were excellent. You know what that was? That was a lot of times of just, sorry, guys, we have maybe DeAndre Hopkins today. Maybe we have Juju Smith-Schuster. Rashee Rice is done for the year at this point. So you know what we got to do? We got to hand the ball off to Kareem Hunt. And they would just
So you think in a weird
chunk
way,
chunk by
so
chunk,
you
go
think
down the field, and then we have the better quarterback to execute in the red zone. But yes.
So you think in a weird way, the fact that they have a full healthy complement of weapons.
It has
if I'm
worked
hearing you
against
right,
them.
like
Yes.
the arrogance part of it is like,
Yes.
no, we have all these. What we have to play this way. You're telling me in a weird way that if Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy were both hurt,
and you have
right now,
and you have restrictions on the coaching staff
yeah.
to make the coaching staff have to make hard and fast
Yeah.
decisions to help the game plan be as sharp as possible. Yes, sometimes this is the thing, and I know people are like, here he goes again. This is why I love Carlos Alcaraz and why Carlos Alcaraz may never be the greatest tennis player of all time, because he has too many shots at his disposal. Do we need a drop shot? No, just hit a forehand. Hey, what if I did like a cool like slice drop shot? Like the reason why Yannick Sinner beats you is because he doesn't have that much. He only has so many things he's good at, and I think sometimes the Chiefs, kind of like Carlos Alcaraz, it'd be really fun if I
simplify. Can we simplify the offense a little
really
bit?
fun, but wouldn't it be so fun
You
if
think
we
the Broncos, though, offensively?
did 13 personnel with Rasheed Rice in the backfield? Wouldn't that be so fun? I mean, again, you have so many options. It actually makes your decision making a little bit harder because on the whiteboard, yeah, it could work. Doesn't mean you should. So limiting their options, I think, made the coaching staff concentrate and really understand who their players and personnel was last year, and then they systematically changed their offense to be competitive for the quarterback and for the defense, honestly, too, because it protected the defense better last year as well.
So do you what's your faith, confidence that, look, they didn't adjust after the bye week, so now a loss like this, while the fan base and everybody on the outside is panicking, going back to we keep using the word arrogance and everything, do you think that they are able to truly look internally after a game like that and recognize, hey, we got 7 games left.
Yeah.
We truly, the math isn't good for us to make the playoffs right now. We got 7 games left. We have to win, maybe not the way we want to win.
Correct. My recommendation for everybody would be, it's okay that you have 4 really talented receivers. I need 2 of them on the field. Because we know Xavier Worthy's dealing with ankle, dealing with the shoulder. We know this, right? Now, he's still getting open, but maybe he doesn't need to play as many snaps. Hey, guys, when we have 3 of these wide receivers, and I know people have asked me where we build a certain set of goals. Hey, I thought these goods were the goods, man. We're going to get Rice and Brown and Worthy on the field. If you look at the metrics, we need to get back to more 2 tight end sets, 2 receivers, get your behind under center. You know what that does? It forces the defense to put a 3rd linebacker on the field. And I would say from a personnel situation, even though the Chiefs on paper, even though theoretically they look like they should be just a high fly, air this thing out offense, the last 2 opponents actually felt comfortable when you did that. And I know that's why, in some respects, they went to 13 personnel, even though we don't need Robert Tonyan. We really don't. It's nice. It's cool. He's there if someone gets hurt, but nah. So maybe do that on short yardage type stuff, but come on now. I mean, that play call was atrocious. So getting 2 tight end sets, get that 3rd linebacker on the field, because I think right now you're seeing a league that still has better nickel defenders than 3rd linebackers. And again, if you're under center more, now you can mirror play action. Now you can take deep shots. Okay, is Tyquan Thornton blocking on this play, or is he going to try to run by me? Well, hey, that's actually a question if you get under center with 2 tight ends on the field.
Do you think the Broncos did things unexpected the Chiefs weren't expecting? I know Dobbins out of the game. Clearly,
correct.
Yeah. But they are effective. They have the number 1 offensive line in the NFL by a lot of different metrics.
Yep.
But they weren't able to run the football. 2.8 yards a carry, only 59 yards. R.J. Harvey's a good back. They drafted only 11 carries in the game. Jaleel McLaughlin had 1 carry the whole season. He got 6 against the Kansas City Chiefs. But Bo Nix throws the ball for 37 times.
And gets away with it.
And the Broncos ran for 21. Were the Chiefs expecting more of a run-heavy load with the Denver Broncos than Bo Nix backing up?
Yeah, that's a good question. You could, based on the data you had going up to that game, I think, especially the fact that, A, they didn't get as much pressure as they did, especially in the second half, and I don't know, guys. People are upset by Chamari Connor, but I'm like, hey, guys, it's the first play. What is it? The first play after the interception. Guess what, guys? It's, I asked Nick Bolton after the game. They mirror because it looks like he might hand it off to him for a legitimate running play. Oh, now the receiver's running by me because I've got my keys set to run fits. The thing that I question Steve Spagnuolo is, okay, if they threw the ball more than you were anticipating, it happens. Now you cannot leave a stadium, and I will give some credit to the defense. Dog, they only gave up 1 touchdown. You can't lose that game. You can't lose that game when all you're saying is, hey, we might give up some things here and there, but we're going to shore it up in the red zone. We're not going to give up, they gave up 2 explosive plays. One of them is Christian Fulton on the field, which here comes the criticism. Do you know who your best 11 defenders are? Because I don't think he does. And
No Williams did not play at all.
That's crazy at this point in the season, given Steve Spagnuolo's track record. He'll experiment in October. He'll do some things in September that go, all right, that looks funky, or, but hey, we tried it. Now we're going to consolidate, condense some things. Now we're going to hey, here are my best 11 guys. Here are my best guys in nickel. Here are my guys in dime. And from then we're going to build out all these crazy exotic blitzes and wrinkles and, maybe pass protection type of stuff where we can move Chris Jones around. And again, Chris Jones played as good as you could ask him to do at his age, given his role. But to your point, Jay, okay, if they're passing the ball more than you think, and you are understanding that, and he hasn't thrown a ball all day where you really could have caught it, go after him. What are we he's a second-year quarterback.
The focus was the running game, which they did a good job.
Which they did a great job.
But then Bo Nix came in that game with 18 touchdowns in 18 straight games where he had at least a touchdown pass. So there is the respect on that. But the Chiefs do take something away every game, and clearly it was about taking away
the run,
the Denver's run, which worked.
But you got it. I mean, that 3rd and 15, I'm just hey guys, to your point, Jay, they got a good offensive line. So unless Chris Jones beats a double team, which they actually triple teamed him to start the play, which is hilarious. They're we don't need anybody else. Just triple team this man and leave everybody else on an island. George Karlaftis unfortunately gets locked up. I think Charles Omenihu kind of over pursues, but he's trying to use his speed rush. It's okay, I get it. No one else gets home. Anybody will find someone 4 seconds into the play, and that's essentially what happened. So you could have sped up the quarterback, and I think that's something that they have to do with Daniel Jones, right? If you do take away Jonathan Taylor on Sunday, you got to let Daniel Jones know, you better find the answer quick, because we're rushing, we're blitzing, and I know the blitz numbers weren't great on Sunday, but again, do you know who your best 11 is? And I thought your identity was, we get you in 3rd down so I can do crazy blitzes. That's our entire identity as a defense. Why did you stop doing that with the game on the line?
Because slowing down Daniel Jones and Tyler Warren and all this.
Yeah.
Lou Anarumo concerns me more than anything with the Colts, to be honest with you.
Right.
Because he's found a way to slow down the Chiefs.
Correct.
We've got Nate Taylor hanging out with us from ESPN. By the way, just some NFL news. Adam Schefter moments ago, a colleague of yours, mentioning C.J. Stroud still out for Thursday. He has not cleared concussion protocol.
Which means we might shut the season down. Shut it down. He's too important. If the concussion is this lingering, I don't want to see you this season. I've seen it too often with these young guys. No.
Look,
shut him down.
I think you would want the Bills to win that game anyway, because I think the Bills will end up being a wild card anyway. Yep. So knock the Texans down a couple pegs
for C.J. Stroud's health. Don't you dare come back. Right. So, the Jaguars got a better record than us. The Colts are gonna win the division. It sucks. It ain't our year. I just do not want young quarterbacks who we know are talented to come back from concussions and make things worse.
Significant news there in the NFL. All right, thinking of the playoffs and the path, and the reason why I brought up the Texans is because they're one of the teams the Chiefs are quote-unquote tied with right now. Still have head-to-head. 7 games to go. We'll see if you agree with this. I think 6-1 is what is needed to get in. At 5-2, I think you got to have a lot of help because you just don't have the tiebreakers. You just don't have those, as we all know. So 6-1. I have said that I still think they get in. Bink says they do. On the station, let's see, I think Logan said no. I think Dusty said it's over. No, that's fine. No, I'm not even making fun of him, but
I am.
Okay. I'm not even making fun. I just mean so that's where people are divided. Carrington, I think, still thinks they make the playoffs. What is Nate Taylor saying? And do you agree that they got to go 6-1?
Okay, if we've solved all the coaching issues, which is, hey, maybe less is more, right? And hey, maybe let's get back to our identity on defense. Man, they better win this game on Sunday.
Feels like if they lose Sunday, you lose 3 in a row.
Then you got to win out.
Then I don't think that's happening, Nate. That's why you
based on this team's evidence so far, right?
You beat the Colts, and then you still have one game of wiggle room. You can lose to the Broncos in a rematch or Chargers or something. I think they're actually going to do it if they beat the Colts, but it is all about Sunday.
They should be in a better position to beat the Chargers than they were maybe on opening night in Sao Paulo, based on how banged up the Chargers are. And again, we should remind people, like, the Chiefs at this stage of the season are relatively healthy.
Healthiest team in football.
So you got no excuses. Mm-hmm. We all know they should beat the Titans. They should probably beat the Texans. Broncos on Christmas Day might be interesting because will the Broncos have locked up the division at that point, depending on what the Chargers do? Obviously, they end the season against the Raiders. We just saw the Raiders last night. My God, are they awful. So if they were going to lose a game, I know that sounds weird. You honestly want them to lose on Thanksgiving because that doesn't involve a conference opponent. And
if they were to,
if they were to lose a game. So I think 5-2 is very doable, but they got to get their act together. They got to really concentrate for 60 minutes. I know that sounds real simple and easy to do, but they got to prove it, man. Like, I didn't even mention that, like, okay, this is a good question. I know we're running up on it, but like, first half, dude, we said, hey, you're our number one receiver. Why are you dropping balls, man? Why you dropping ball in the middle of the field in the red zone when we know you could break a tackle? Hey, Mahomes just did incredible things, and he just put it in your hands. And CBS is like, well, if he caught the ball based on the target line, Harrison Butker has at least a chance for the Chiefs to go up 9-6 at halftime. But he dropped the ball. Hey, you know what? We're fine. You know what? Coming out of halftime, you know what? We're going to give you a one-on-one back shoulder throw. Ball's located pretty well. We placed it to where only you can get it. All that's concentration. Like, we know how talented Rashee Rice. There are 3 times in that game where they gave him the ball in favorable situations, and he did not concentrate well to catch the ball. Just do the things that you are capable of doing for 60 minutes. We all know Jawan Taylor knows where to line up. Can you do, like, we've seen you do it this year. He went on a little run where he'd had no penalties.
4 games, and then he's back.
Come on, man. 60 minutes. 60 minutes. You got to really concentrate. You got to really focus. Like, you know, because what opponents are now telling you is, you make a mistake, we're going to make you pay. This ain't like the last couple of years. And as explosive as the offense is supposed to be, can they really come back from a 2-score deficit? The answer is no, ladies and gentlemen. Just, like, no. The answer is no. So if you have less margin of error, you better be out here concentrating. You better be out here focused. You know, you can't have penalties, man. Like, I almost want to tell Nico Remigio, hey, dog, don't even run out there. Because if you run out there and field the punt, there will be a holding call. Don't even go out there. Like, I know you're working hard. You've made your dreams come true. You've made it in the NFL. I don't need to see you return 1 punt this season. Nope, not anymore, bud. It'd be a lot better if they didn't have the ball at that 8-yard line every time.
Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from ESPN. Chiefs Colts Sunday at noon.
Woo!
Right here on 96.5 The Fan. Appreciate it, man. Good to have you back. Glad to hear things are headed in a good direction on the health front as well. Thanks to James Howell. Short notice today. Fill it in for Drew. Really appreciate it.
McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel.
Can we get his voice real quick?
Yeah, Mike McDaniel.
What's going on? They said it's more of a cadence thing than the actual voice.
Okay. All right.
Hank, appreciate you filling in, man. Cody is back tomorrow. We'll talk to you guys then.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree.